its past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news, ESPN's Shams Charania is reporting Oklahoma City's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has earned his first NBA MVP after winning his first scoring title and leading the Thunder to a league-high 68 wins this season. Tonight will mark the first time in a quarter of a century the Knicks will host an NBA Eastern Conference Finals game when they take on the Pacers in Game 1, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. While Indiana would certainly love to steal home court, Coach Rick Carlisle takes a 2-week approach to a playoff series, explains ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst.
The Pacers are like a boxer. They are going to inflict body blows, with the intent of winning it at the end, and also winning Game 4, winning Game 6. Go ask the Cleveland Cavaliers. They were exhausted at the end of those games.
Oilers and Stars open up the NHL's West Final tonight in Dallas, 8 Eastern ESPN. Push on, Eagles. The proposal to ban the play run to perfection by the Super Bowl champs fell 2 votes shy of being passed at today's NFL spring meeting. The Bills will be featured on HBO's Hard Knocks this summer.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Thursday, SGA and the Thunder took Game 1 in a strong second half. I'll tell you what the Wolves need to do if they want to level up in Game 2. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
Chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You sir. And Mr. Toby Tompley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day.
It's hump day.
Blake Baker was on OTB today.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Gave an update on Whit Weeks.
Hump day.
You're going to like it.
It's hump day.
We got Pete Fiutak in hour 3.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We got Jared Mitchell from the SEC tournament in Hoover, Alabama.
Hump day.
What if they played this in Greenbow?
It's hump day.
Wouldn't that be better?
It'd be much better.
Mike.
Much.
What day is it, Mike?
I don't know if they've got a baseball field in Greenbow, Muse.
Hump day.
But for our show purposes,
It's hump day.
it would allow us to play the drop where Forrest Gump says Greenbow, Alabama.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And you know I'd play the hell out of that.
Hump day.
Because I do love playing the hell out of good drop.
It's hump day.
Todd Peterson.
I mean, come on, that was a softball, man.
He just brought his A game today,
No, that was just, I'm not even going to take credit for that. That was such a softball.
Oh, yeah. Ellen Moore.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Ellen Moore.
Yeah. That fires me up. Muse is paying attention today. Look at that.
Hump day.
Give it an hour and 16 minutes.
It's hump day.
might have a little treat around 420 for you today, Muse.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Not that kind of treat.
Oh, yeah, not that kind of
treat. You got those stashed under the desk.
No, I don't.
It's hump day.
All right, let's get going here. We got a lot to do on this hump day edition of AFR. Bama and Tennessee are playing right now in Hoover. Tennessee's up 5-2. A couple of teams with a lot on the line when they look at their postseason destination. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Yes, the SEC tournament going on in Hoover right now. But anytime we have the opportunity to talk a little LSU football, when the defensive coordinator for the LSU Tigers, Blake Baker, meets with reporters, goes on the record, we're going to talk about it here, especially when there's something relevant as an update on Whit Weeks, Harold Perkins. That's exactly what happened. Blake Baker stopped by with Hester this morning on OTB. You can get that entire interview on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts if you search Off the Bench. Most newsworthy, and he talked about a lot. They had about a 15-minute convo. But most newsworthy was an update on Whit Weeks, who, as we all remember, the last time we saw him, broke his leg in the bowl game, did not participate in spring drills, although he was out there. He just wasn't participating naturally. You don't need Whit Weeks participating in spring, even if he was healthy. But Blake Baker here on Wednesday morning gave an update on Whit Weeks.
He's doing really well. I mean, He talked about, yesterday he was at full speed doing football drills, and more than anything, it's just a fatigue standpoint as far as the next day, getting over that soreness just from using all those muscles and ligaments again. But he's dang near 100%.
Dang near 100%, little soreness, all that stuff. Everything's tracking, which is great news. Of course, we knew about the break. Clearly, there was a ligament issue there as well, which that could be the thing that maybe delays it a little bit. But that's fantastic news. Sometimes I think there is a component with anything of out of sight, out of mind. And because we just didn't talk about Whit Weeks at all during spring football because he wasn't participating, and so much of our conversation and concentration were on the transfers, the offensive line, we just didn't talk at all about Whit Weeks. But I want to remind you of something. And I had to go look this up a little bit before the show because I thought I remembered it correctly. Whit Weeks, he was first team all-conference last year. He had 125 tackles. Let me give you some context to that number. It sounds like a big number, and it is, but let me give you some context. Not contacts. Those are the things you put in your eye. Context. Devin White, pretty good linebacker, right? In 2018, Devin White won the Butkus Award as the best linebacker in college football. In that season, 2018, when Devin White won the Butkus as the best linebacker in college football, he had 123 tackles. Whit Weeks last year had 125. So yes, a healthy Whit Weeks is a really big deal. Another guy that's coming off of injury at that linebacker spot, Harold Perkins. Hester asked Blake Baker about guys that he would consider leaders who's stepping up as leaders on the defense. First guy out the chute he mentioned.
You got to start with having Harold Perkins back. He's just a natural leader for us. He brings a lot of energy. So definitely excited to have him back. But some of the younger guys, when you look at that freshman class, Dominic McKinley, Ahmad Bro, Deshaun Spears, Devon Keys, P.J. Woodland, Gabe Relaford. That's a good group of freshmen that played a ton of snaps for us last year. So it'll be interesting to see, and like we, continue to talk about, we integrated with some transfers. And, we talk about before we bring in any of those guys, the number one thing our job is to bring competitive depth. And so I think you're going to see some guys step up from a leadership standpoint and just from a competitive depth standpoint that maybe were kind of fringe guys for us last year.
I want to point out he led with Harold Perkins. Talking about leaders, led with Harold Perkins. Great update there as well. Speak of out of sight, out of mind. Same thing. Perkins played in 3 games for you. It's been disappointing the last couple of seasons while he's been out of position. I'm probably as bullish as anybody on Harold Perkins this year. Moving to star, playing his natural position. I think he's going to be awesome in that role in this defense to let him go do the thing he does well. But did you notice another name he mentioned there was Devon Keys, another linebacker. When Blake Baker was asked later in the interview about guys that really were spring standouts, he mentioned Keys there as well.
I think P.J. Woodland had an outstanding spring. Deshaun Spears, I've been very vocal about there was nobody harder on Deshaun Spears than me last year. And that's just because of the potential that young man has, and to see him starting to really break through this spring, not only from a tackling standpoint, a physical standpoint, his leadership out on the back end. He had a really outstanding spring. Those two guys in particular, Devon Keys, he ended up starting our last 4 games. I'm challenging him from a leadership standpoint. And then Gabe Relaford.
That's good. That's what I need. Point is, you got Weeks back. You got Perkins back. You got Blake Baker in 2 different instances. Who's stepping up as a leader? Who had a great spring? Mentioning Devon Keys, linebacker. Oh, by the way, you've also got West Weeks coming back. Last piece of sound I play, and then I have some stuff I want to say real quick. But here was Blake Baker Wednesday morning on West Weeks this year.
Yeah, West was a guy, even going after last spring, 2 springs ago, I sat him down and viewed him as a starter, and he was honestly competing with Greg Penn for that starting role, and unfortunately, did get banged up, but ended up working out in our favor, as far as being able to redshirt him and having him back. But he had an outstanding spring. You could tell early on in spring, just kind of, even in bowl prep, knocking some of the rust off, but he's back to where he was pre-injury last year.
That is a massive deal. And I want to give you some perspective here. We have spent so much time talking about what LSU added in the transfer portal, and rightfully so. They spent a lot of money and added 18 transfers. Remember, that number had started to dwindle from when Brian Kelly got here to the point where a year ago they added 9. They doubled that number this year. There are 18 transfers they've added. 9 of them on the defensive side of the ball. And they added transfers at every position on defense except one. They added Mitchell and Gooden at defensive tackle. Jack Pyburn, Patrick Payton, Jamari Butler at defensive end. Mansour Delane, Jakeem Jackson at cornerback. Tamarcus Cooley, A.J. Halsey at safety. They added transfers at every position on defense except one. And it's the position that your defensive coordinator coaches. So ask yourself this, do you trust Blake Baker? Because if you do, I mean, one of my favorite mantras I say all the time, actions speak louder than words. You can tell me somebody's awesome. Are your actions mapping to that? When you go add 9 defensive players and none of them are at linebacker, and then the defensive coordinator, who also happens to be the linebackers coach, tells you he loves his linebacker group, he ain't just feeding you lip service, man. Like, they could have gone and added linebackers in the portal. Didn't. How do you not get fired up about this group of linebackers, considering what you have coming back, who you have elevating, and who you have coaching them? And that guy is fired up about this group, which was awesome to see. I know we have talked a ton about the edge rushers. We have talked a ton about the cornerbacks, adding depth at safety and talented guys at safety. But, man, Whit Weeks, Devon Keys, West Weeks, Harold Perkins, like that group, they may be the pace cars of this defense. And Whit Weeks is coming off a 125 tackle season. Like, what do you do for an encore? About to find out. Much more from the convo that Jake had with Blake Baker this morning. We'll get to that again. If you want to hear that full interview, you can. Just go to podcast or YouTube, search Off the Bench, and you'll find it there. Appreciate Coach Baker for jumping on with Jake this morning. All right, it's After Further Review. Show Up and Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. Tigers play on Friday at the Hoover Met. You're going to be kicking up, watching that game. Make sure you got plenty of ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of your New Orleans Saints. Probably going to need a lot of those to get through Saints season. And the official beer of AFR. If you're heading to the store, maybe you're at a sports bar, restaurant, make sure you kick up and knock back a few ice-cold Bud Lights. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. All right, it's After Further Review. Let me knock out a quick break. We've talked a lot about the Saints quarterback situation, and there's a free agent, not a free agent. There's a veteran that a lot of people have mentioned the Saints should inquire about trading for that I want to talk about when we come back at AFR.
After Further Review.
DuplessisBuilders.net. That's the website. Start there. DuplessisBuilders.net. I've told you for more than a year now about Derek Duplessis and the great staff and team over at Duplessis Builders. Listen, they're right there on Airline Highway in Prairieville, the corner of Airline and Duplessis Lane. So sometimes synergies in life work out. Right next to the new Rouses. I would highly, highly, highly encourage that you go to their showroom. Because when it comes to your pool building process, listen, they could design a pool for you and tell you how it's going to look, but they want you to be a part of that process. So when you go there, you will pick out your tiling, your coping, your stone, your plaster. They get you to pick out the things for your pool. Instead of saying, here's your stuff, they're going to guide you through that process. If you're looking to build an outdoor kitchen, great time to do that as well. Duplessis Builders, they have putting greens they can do outside for you as well. Make your outdoor space an oasis with DuplessisBuilders.net.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
I'm glad you're rolling along with us here on a Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com. Remember, they also have telemed options, so even if you're not in Baton Rouge and you're interested in hormone therapy or unique physique with GLP-1 medications, you can always log on to yourgoodwood.com to learn more. Yourgoodwood.com. They're right there on Drusilla in Baton Rouge. But you can do the whole thing over telemed if you'd prefer. I've been asked this enough now that I figured it warranted time on the show, so I figured we'd do it here. The Saints quarterback situation has been I mean, the singular biggest storyline this entire offseason in New Orleans. And that's saying something considering you have a new coach. The firing DA, hiring Kellen Moore thing has not been the driver. It's been Derek Carr's injury. Is he back? The contract restructure, and then ultimately drafting Tyler Shuck before we even knew that Derek Carr was going to be retired. And this quarterback situation has been massive. And naturally, one of the things that I've talked a good bit about is the need to bring in a veteran. And my feeling, just to be very clear, is not that you need to bring in a veteran to make you better today, to help you compete now. Because I don't think this roster, even with an established veteran quarterback, is competing for anything of significance. They're not going to be a playoff team. Like, I think you could take Patrick Mahomes, put him on the Saints today. They're not a playoff team. You may roll your eyes at that. We saw Drew Brees in a Hall of Fame career have back-to-back 7 and 9 seasons. They're really good on offense. Defense was atrocious. I don't think the Saints have fixed all of their personnel issues that even with an elite quarterback would be a playoff team. My feeling has been they need to add a veteran as sort of a stabilizer to take pressure off of these young guys while they grow and learn and develop. And we've seen the benefits of that. We saw Patrick Mahomes get the opportunity to sit for a year behind Alex Smith before starting in his second year. We saw Aaron Rodgers sit behind Brett Favre, Jordan Love sit behind Aaron Rodgers. I mean, there is a methodology there that makes sense. So anyway, but my feeling there has been you can add a veteran quarterback in veteran free agency, someone like Teddy Bridgewater, or you wait to see what happens in Cleveland or New York, and there's probably going to be veteran quarterbacks who end up on the open market that you could bring in. What's been suggested is a dramatically different approach, and it's the possibility of trading for Tua. Now, to be very clear, I have not seen this from anyone reputable. It's not to say someone reputable hasn't reported on this. What I think has happened, as best as I can connect the dots, is somebody somewhere put out a hypothetical like the Saints should trade, like the Dolphins might be looking to move Tua, and so who naturally are the quarterback needy teams? The Saints are one of them. So someone follows that path and goes, okay, here's why the Saints should trade for Tua. I think that's how this happened. I don't think the Saints are calling Miami about Tua, and I don't know that Miami's out there shopping Tua around. Maybe they are. I just don't cover the Dolphins, and I don't know what internally is going on there. But I think there are two very different questions here. Number one is whether or not Tua is a better option than anyone you presently have. And to me, the answer to all of us should unequivocally be, of course. Of course, Tua is a better option than anyone you have. Tua has played 5 NFL seasons, and he was 27 years old. He's 38 and 24 as a starting quarterback in the NFL. His 2022 and 2023 seasons were actually outstanding. And that's why he got the contract extension he did. In 2023, he started all 17 games, threw for 4,600 yards, 29 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and the Dolphins went 11-6. I mean, that's outstanding. I mean, that's what your expectation is when you take a guy with a top 10 pick at quarterback, which is what the Dolphins did with Tua back in 2020. So at his best, he's obviously a much better option than anyone you have, but I don't think that's the question. The other question is, should you trade for him? And for me, the answer there is a resounding no. And I want to work through some reasons. I think there's 4 primary reasons why that's not a good idea. One is what I just mentioned. Your roster is not good enough to win now. If you are a quarterback away from being a contender, then I would say, hot damn, let's go. And you've seen situations like that. I mean, the 49ers had a great roster a couple of years ago. There was a stretch where I would argue the Niners had the best roster in the NFL. They're a quarterback away. And they kind of got lucky and drafted Brock Purdy. They went through a lot of different guys, thought maybe Jimmy G was the guy, but ultimately Jimmy G got him to a Super Bowl. Now they've paid Brock Purdy. Minnesota feels like one of those teams that's an elite quarterback away. Was Darnold that guy? Maybe. I mean, they won 14 games a year ago. Maybe it's J.J. McCarthy. We'll see. But you can look at rosters at times and go, okay, what quarterback is elevating a good roster to be in a great team? Like Joe Burrow is a great example of that. Joe Burrow statistically was the best quarterback in the NFL a year ago. He elevated a bad Bengals team to the brink of the playoffs because he had an all-pro caliber season. His roster, though, around him just isn't good enough. Then there's times where you have rosters that are good enough, they're missing the one piece. The Saints are neither of those. They're a bad roster with a bad quarterback situation. That's not my opinion. The odds makers, you know the people whose job is to set lines to make money. With Derek Carr, the Saints were projected 5.5 wins. Derek Carr retires, they're docked 1 win. They're down to 4.5 is their over-under projection. So that's to say, even with Derek Carr, they were at 5.5 wins. Let's say you replace Carr with Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen, whoever you think is the best quarterback in the NFL. What's that player worth? Let's call it 4 wins. Okay, so you're a 8-9, 9-8 team. I mean, you're still not a contender. You're better, but you're not a contender. So that's number one. You're not a quarterback away. Number two is an obvious one, which are the injury concerns with Tua. In 5 seasons, he's played a full lot of games once, and that was 2023. As a rookie, he played in 10 games. In 2021, he played in 13. 2022, he played in 13. In 2023, he played the full 17-game season, and then this last year, he missed 6 games. So that's just part of the narrative or the conversation with Tua. He has missed games every season but one. So at 27 years old, with real legitimate concussion issues, can you invest long-term in Tua? It's a very difficult thing to do with confidence because you just don't know if that guy is going to have durability to warrant the type of contract that Miami already gave him with their extension, which is the third. So after the fact that you're not a quarterback away, Tua's got injury concerns, there's the cost. Miami gave Tua a 4-year, $212 million contract extension that runs through 2029. So, remember I say it all the time, when you trade for a player, and usually it's the other way, because we're talking about it from the Saints, when people are like, oh, the Saints should trade their veteran players. That sounds great. But when you're trading, remember, you're not just trading the player or trading for the player, you're trading for the player's contract as well. So when you look at Tua, if you trade for Tua with the contract that Miami gave him, they signed him to a 4-year, $212 million deal that has an average annual value of $53 million. Like, that's a giant problem. I mean, that's the kind of contract that you're going to give the top quarterbacks in the NFL. Like, you take on that kind of burden for Lamar Jackson, for Josh Allen, for Joe Burrow, for Patrick Mahomes. You don't take on that burden for Tua when he is 27 with a concussion history that is a concern about his longevity, and in 5 seasons he's played a full year once. So that's the other part. And then finally, remember, it's not just taking on the player and his contract. You have to give up assets to get that player. So all of the and if you just look at what trade compensation might look like, here's 4 trades that I looked up in the last 15 years that are similar, where you're trading for an established veteran quarterback. For whatever reason, things went awry, and the team that had that player's rights traded him. 2009, Josh McDaniels went to Denver as the head coach, and he trades Jay Cutler to Chicago. It's a pretty good comp. Jay Cutler was a first-round pick. He was an established starter. It was 2 first-round picks, a 3, and Kyle Orton. Chicago sent Denver 2 1s, a 3, and their starting quarterback. If you're New Orleans, would you send Miami 2 1s, a 3, and a starter? I wouldn't. Cincinnati traded Carson Palmer to Oakland. Remember, Palmer said he'd retire if he didn't get traded out of Cincinnati. Joke's on you. They sent you to Oakland. They got a 1 and a 2. Oakland gave up a 1 and a 2 for Carson Palmer. You want to give up a first and a second round pick for Tua? I wouldn't. Not to turn around and have to spend $53 million a year on a 27-year-old quarterback who's played a full season once and has concussion history. Miami did it in 2019 with Ryan Tannehill. Remember, Ryan Tannehill was a top 10 pick in the draft. They traded him to Tennessee. This one was palatable. They sent him to Tennessee for a 4 and a 7. So the Titans gave up a 4th-round pick and a 7th-round pick for Ryan Tannehill. That's palatable. If you told me the Saints could send Miami a 4 and a 7 and get Tua, now you've got my attention. I also don't think that's realistic. And most recently, we saw it with Matt Stafford. Detroit traded Stafford to L.A. for 2 1s, a 3, and Jared Goff. Basically, L.A. was willing to send Goff and all the picks to Detroit to take Goff's contract. Remember, L.A. gave Goff the giant contract after they went to the Super Bowl in 2018, but they didn't feel like he was capable of being an elite quarterback. So really that trade was like, hey, we'll give you 2 1s and a 3 to take Goff's contract off our hands and give us the veteran quarterback who we think we can win now with. And it's worked for both teams. Goff has become a legitimate starter in the NFL, and Stafford won a Super Bowl. So that's worked. But would you give up 2 1s, a 3, and a player for Tua? Of course you would. So as I look through it, the only thing that would be palatable is if Miami would take the Tannehill deal. Would you take a 4 and a 7 to get rid of Tua's contract, basically, and start over there in Miami? I don't know that they're willing to do that, but that's about the only thing that I'd be willing to do. And if that's off the table, then I don't know that there's a realistic option. And again, if you missed it as we started this conversation, there's no credible reports out there that this is happening, but I've been asked about this enough by you all that I felt it warranted having the conversation. Your roster's not good enough to win now. Tua's got injury concerns. There's an exorbitant cost associated, and you'd have to send tons of draft capital to Miami. It just doesn't make sense. Oh, by the way, you also just spent the 40th overall pick on a quarterback. So you're going to go through this year, assess what you have with Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler, and after this season, you have a pretty good idea if you feel like you can build around one of those two guys. And if you can, awesome. You commit resources to building around those two guys. And if after the 2025 season, you look at what you have in Rattler and Shuck and you think, this is not going to be it, then you pivot. And you use a top 10 pick on a quarterback for the first time since Archie Manning, and you build around that player. See how it goes. But pretty confident saying it won't be a trade for Tua. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. You know, there's so many benefits to owning land. If it's building your family's dream home, if it's recreational timberland, if it's 1,000 acres for agriculture. But there's also tax benefits. Remember, as a landowner, you're going to incur expenses, and a lot of times those are tax deductible. So ask your CPA the benefits of owning recreational timber land. Land's a finite resource, y'all. It's never going down in value. It's just not. It's dirt. They ain't making more of it. You're looking for an investment? Call our friends at First South Farm Credit. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. That's firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. All right, y'all. Glad you're hanging out with us here in this Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Taylor Calandro's here in about 15 minutes for Bourbon Dictionary. We'll knock out a quick break. Go around the SEC, get you caught up on the SEC tournament as well. And also in about 30 minutes, when I was at Barrett Sports Media a couple of weeks ago, I had a chance to ask one of the tops of ESPN's programming, Burke Magnus, about scheduling college football games, times, network, all that stuff. He gave a very thoughtful, thorough answer. I want to play it for you. We'll talk a little bit about that in about 30 minutes from right now. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
After further review.
Yo, we are smack dab in the middle of turnaround season. You work in the plants, you know that. It's March to October. So you got a turnaround coming up. You're looking for someone to bid that turnaround job. Remember our friends over at Action Industries and the Advanced Turnaround Group. Same company. Action Industries is the company. Advanced Turnaround Group is a subsidiary. It's the turnaround arm of Action Industries. So the same great local company that's been around for 43 years. And I tell you all the time, I love, as a business, they know what they are. They're great mega contractors that do $200 million jobs. That's not Action Industries. They're not interested in bidding your $200 million job. Now, you have that job, and you need to supplement it. They can supplement your workforce for those jobs, but maybe you hire that mega contractor for your 100-person job and you don't feel like you're getting their best. That's Action Industries' sweet spot. You get all their best people. It's the Advanced Turnaround Group at Action Industries.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
All right, rolling along here. Glad you're with us. Taylor Calandro, Bourbon Dictionary, in about 8 minutes from right now. Over in Hoover, Alabama. My goodness. Bama went on a little bit of a run. 6-6 now, bottom six. That was 5-2 a minute ago. Muse, you've been watching? I know you have. What's been going on?
Yeah, so right before we walked in here, Bama got themselves a rally going in the top of the fifth. They would end up putting up 5 runs. There was an error that cost Tennessee 2 runs, and then a double that followed that error, and that made it 6-5. Tennessee would add a run in the bottom half, 6-6. And I believe, let's see, what are they doing? They had a runner at second. I don't know what else.
Yeah, it's a runner at second with 1 out for Tennessee. So they're bottom 6, tied at 6 there in Hoover. The game earlier today is of great relevance to LSU. Texas A&M. How about A&M? They blew the doors off of Mississippi State. Did it finish 9-0?
9-0, yes.
So 9-0 A&M beats Mississippi State. It's really significant, man. There's kind of a feeling A&M's got to go win this whole thing to earn a berth, and made a pretty big statement beating Mississippi State. So State's eliminated. Texas A&M will play Auburn at 11 a.m. Thursday. The loser of that game obviously is eliminated. The whole thing single elimination. So the winner will play LSU Friday evening. So again, State's eliminated. A&M Auburn play Thursday 11 a.m. Winner plays LSU on Friday. So let's keep churning through pitching and see if the Tigers behind very likely Cade Anderson cannot win in Hoover on Friday. If you missed our conversation with Anthony Renato yesterday, highly recommend you go check that out. We'll get that up on YouTube as well. And I kind of went the whole approach with Renato of from a guy who was the Friday night starter, front of the rotation guy, would you rather pitch in Hoover or skip your turn and get rest before regionals? And he was unabashed. Like, he wants the ball every time. And sometimes, like, skipping your turn could actually be a detriment because then you get, like, a live arm, then you start to overthrow, you lose command, you lose feel, like you want to stay in your routine, your rhythm. So it was really interesting to hear that. And I peppered everything. I mean, from what about a bullpen? What about, a shortened outing, like 70 pitches instead of 115? He basically said it doesn't matter. So fascinating convo. Would highly recommend you go check it out. Made me feel very different about the whole approach that they may take with Cade Anderson and Anthony Einson this weekend, because you're just on a normal weekend where Anderson can pitch Friday, Einson can pitch Saturday, and then if you make it Sunday, you figure it out like you've done all year. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. They do it all. They do shutters as well over at Relief Windows. You can check them out at ReliefWindows.com, ReliefWindows.com. Always recommend you go check out their beautiful showroom on Airline Highway in Prairieville. If you're going south on Airline, you cross 42, about a quarter mile on the right. You can't miss it. The same company that redesigned LSU's football operations facility designed the Relief Window showroom. It's awesome to go in there. So you check out all your options. They have these awesome 3D modeling technologies, so you don't have to look at a picture or a small sample. Like, you can actually see what it would look like at your home with those windows, that door, that siding. You check it out. It's custom fit for every room. It's Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138 for Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. All right, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Ole Miss Rebels.
Rice quarterback, Shockey, eye trash, joining the Ole Miss roster. 6'3", 211 pounds. He's got 1 year of eligibility remaining. He was a 3-star in the class of 2021. Shockey, eye trash.
We sure that's it? I don't know if that's it.
I-T-R-A-S-H. Eye trash.
Yeah, but that can't be how they pronounce it, right?
There is another I in there.
Yeah.
I omitted it. I took a creative liberty. I'm going with Shockey eye trash.
Creative liberty with another person's name.
It's my show. Do whatever the hell I want. Hit the button.
The Missouri Tigers.
Missouri is going to retain baseball coach Carrick Jackson. I have no idea why. They were 3-27 in the league. Hey, when Missouri looks at themselves in the mirror, you know what they say? Eye trash.
That's there. Yep.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Zakai Ziegler has filed a lawsuit for a 5th year of eligibility. Fascinating. Remember, under the new House settlement, what Ross Dellinger reported was that this would not be allowed. Every team that signs on in the new House settlement, they would have to sign, would not be allowed to sue the new entity. But Zakai Ziegler trying to play another year, even though he did not attend junior college. He wants to play another year while he works on his master's. So, just give me another year.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Nate Oates has hired Chris Fleming as a new men's basketball assistant. Fleming replaces Ryan Pannoni, who left in March to be the head coach at Arkansas State.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
And Kentucky landed 4-star 2025 small forward Braden Hawthorne. Beat out Duke, Pittsburgh, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, and Virginia Tech. There you have it. That is Around the SEC. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. Yourgoodwood.com. All right, Taylor Calandro talking some booze next. Stay here.
AFR.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001. Tell you every day, look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. You see them all over town because your friends and neighbors trust River City's 1 Hour Air for the same reason that I do. I've told you countless stories throughout the years. River City's 1 Hour Air being at my house on 5 o'clock on Easter Sunday when our AC went out years ago. Brother-in-law was hosting a party this past Sunday at their house for my niece's graduation. Saturday, AC was out within 30 minutes of calling this past Saturday. They had a yellow van in their driveway from River City's 1 Hour Air. Carlette Vircher sent this 5-star Google review. Brandon, the technician, was very informative, knowledgeable regarding services and repairs needed. Thank you. Another 5-star Google review from River City's 1 Hour Air. Why not? They got more than double the amount of 5-star Google reviews of the next closest competitor. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. They're the gang with the slang.
Keep it 100. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
I don't understand.
Wrapping up hour number one. Get your booze questions in. Email us, tweet us, text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400. You can email us or tweet us as well. Taylor, how are you, dude?
I'm good. How are you, Matt?
Doing awesome. What's new?
New beer this week from Mockler, from Parish Brewing. It's a return of an old beer, but Greetings from Holly Beach. It's part of their Greetings from series. It's like a little Berliner with a bunch of fruit. I think it's got pineapple, passion fruit, mango, coconut maybe. It's really good though. It's a good little pool beer if you haven't had it. Light sour, really fruity.
What's a Berliner?
Just like a little light sour.
Okay.
It's the most basic way to put it. Not gonna really make you pucker up too much, but definitely a little bit of tartness in there.
Okay. Anything else new?
We had at the end of the week last week some Penelope Rio and we got the Penelope Peach Old Fashioned. That Penelope's starting to do a line of pre-made cocktails. I think it was 80 proof, and I think it was around $30 or so. I can't remember how much it was. It's supposed to be a year-round thing, and we sold out of it. But it's supposed to be a year-round thing, and I think they have another one coming, like Black Walnut Old Fashioned. Me and my dad were going to pull a bottle to try the Penelope. The Peach Old Fashioned, and it sold out too fast. We didn't think it was going to do that. So.
Hey, have they? That's interesting. We've got a picture of it up on the screen right there. So is that something they've marketed a lot, or is that just something people would come into the store and just grab it?
The Penelope?
Yeah.
It's like brand new. I don't know when they launched it officially, but it's brand new, and the bottles look cool too. That pure white bottle.
Yeah. How do you feel about cocktails in a bottle like that, as opposed to like now I'm not talking about RTDs, but like a pre-made cocktail like that?
So generally, I don't really care for them. Now, it's like on a case-by-case basis. Some are far better than others. I tend to think they become a little sweet, but that's the general palate that these places are going for, and I don't really particularly like super sweet. So it just depends. Largely, I don't really care for them, but that's me personally. They're hugely popular, but I'm more of a purist anyway. So
I know we've talked over the past few years, especially since COVID, how the RTD market, for those who know, that's ready to drink. So that's your give me an RTD.
Rock and Rye from
Slow and Low.
There's a million of them. Any kind of cocktail that's in a bottle or a can ready to drink.
Yeah.
Basically, there's so many of them now. The most basic one that everybody knows is High Noon.
Yeah.
And you don't even think that's really a cocktail, but it is.
Shout out to Neutral, by the way. Neutral's a Mockler product. We'll shout them out.
Neutral too. But there's a million. They've become really popular. I think it's because we've become really lazy.
I think that's legitimate. I really think that's part of it. Instead of taking the time to make a cocktail, you can just grab something that's cold and crack it open and drink it.
And now you don't even think about it. Like they're everywhere now. It doesn't matter where you go, you can get one. When we were in Europe, they have little pre-made spritz everywhere. Like it's even in Europe, which I wouldn't even think they would do something like that. It's kind of blasphemous, but it is what it is.
Let's get some questions here. Preston said, "Hey Taylor, do you have a Beta Blueberry Wheat?"
We had some. I don't know if we have any currently. Possibly, I'm not 100% sure.
Very much appreciate the nondescript answer.
Yes, we did. I just haven't looked at the Beta shelf in a while.
Jamie said, "What Louisiana bourbon distilleries or just a good distillery would you recommend someone to visit?"
So we talked about 7-3. It's basically kind of downtown New Orleans. They have a really solid lineup of whiskey and vodka and gin and some other stuff too. It's a cool little spot to go. They distill everything there too. So, and you wouldn't think that in New Orleans, but that's a cool spot. And if you can go way out in the country, in Scott, the Scott area branch, technically, JT Mellick's really cool, but there's not many bells and whistles to it. It's a small operation, but it's a cool spot to go.
Yeah, shout out as well to 7-3 Distilling. I know we mentioned it last week, but in the San Francisco, the International Wine and Spirit, the World Spirits Competition, they took double gold for their high rye straight bourbon whiskey on Whiskey Tree, which is, I mean, it's an amazing accomplishment. And I know you and I we mentioned it last week. You and I got to sample it before the bottling fee 2 years ago, maybe. Yeah. And we probably sampled 15, 20 different whiskeys, and it was. You were just like, what is that? Like, it stood out so much on the flavor profile from everything else. It was pretty cool to see it come to fruition like this.
And the distillery itself is a cool spot to visit. I mean, it's a nice, clean tasting room, and they got a little bar in there, and the people over there are great too. So,
let's see a couple more here. Eric asked Taylor, favorite summer beer?
Oh, my favorite summer beer. I'll probably get a lot of hate for this. Eagle Grapefruit Radler. I love a Radler in the summer.
One more, Matthew Conger. Hey, Taylor, the boys want to do a whiskey tasting at the lake this weekend. What's a unique whiskey to try that won't break the bank?
Oh, have you had chicken cock? We haven't talked about chicken cock in a while. But it's $60. It's not bad. It's a little 6-year. If you haven't had it, it's good, and I would suggest it for $60 for sure.
I'm pretty sure we need to break that one back. I'm pretty sure that was from COVID when we started this segment.
That was like on the original episode, maybe.
I think it probably was when you talked about how much you love chicken cock. And just as a standalone drop, it's incredible. All right, we got to go. Taylor Calandro from Calandro's. Thanks, dude. We'll see you.
Later.
All right, Sports Center, Hour 2 next.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. It's that easy. They're there right now. Make the call. And like I always say, it is not a sales pitch. When you go for the consultation, it's not a sales pitch. The consult is just giving you the options. They do not charge for it. You could do virtual consults as well. If you want to go in, great. If you want to do it from your office, from your car on your commute, your office, your home, anywhere. I mean, it's a max 30 minutes. It's doubtful it'll ever take that long even. But you'll meet with Kyle, who's the consultant, and then you'll meet with the doctor, and you'll make the decision after that. But start by doing that free consultation at the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020. If you're worried about the ability to pay, they offer 24 months of 0% deferred interest. They're going to work with you to make sure you get the procedure you need. It's the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. ESPN's Shams Charania is reporting Oklahoma City's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's earned his first NBA MVP after winning his first scoring title and leading the Thunder to a league-high 68 wins. Pacers and Knicks renew playoff acquaintances tonight when they tip off Game 1 of the NBA's Eastern Conference Finals, 7:30 Eastern ESPN Radio, 9th all-time postseason series between the teams and the 4th in the conference finals. Trying to get a handle on Jalen Brunson, job one for Indiana. He enters the series with 6 30-point games this postseason. Basketball Hall of Famer Bernard King.
Jalen Brunson is a master guard. He's a master playmaker. He's a master scorer, and he has mastered, again, the art of scoring. You don't see Jalen Brunson taking bad shots consequently, and he's a tremendous passer and finding his teammates, and he's my favorite player.
Bernard King on Freddie and Harry. Oilers and Stars meet in Game 1 of the NHL's Western Conference Final tonight, 8 Eastern on ESPN.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Kennedy. Coming up Thursday, SGA and the Thunder took Game 1 in a strong second half. I'll tell you what the Wolves need to do if they want to level up in Game 2. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Woo!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Pete Fiutak, college football news, 1 hour from right now. Jared Mitchell will be here with us as well in hour number 3 from the SEC tournament. I do want to talk about in just a second. I referenced this. I teased it before we went to break. I had a chance at Barrett Sports Media a couple of weeks ago when Burke Magnus from ESPN was the keynote on the first day, and they opened it up for questions after. And I had a chance to ask Burke about, and by the way, he's the guy in charge of scheduling. What games go on what network at what time? That's his baby. So I had a chance to ask him about scheduling SEC football, in particular LSU, when they go, what time and what network. I'll get to that in just a second. But this sort of just came through. So we talked about it around the SEC. Kendall Rogers, I guess it was Kendall who broke it about an hour ago, that Missouri's made the decision to retain Carrick Jackson, the head coach over at Missouri. Actually, I was trying to find it. I was trying to find it on Twitter. Anyway, here it was. Kendall, it was about an hour ago that Kendall broke this, that Carrick Jackson's going to be retained there at Missouri. They were 16-39 this year, 3-27, worst record ever in the SEC. So they're retaining Carrick Jackson. South Carolina is retaining Paul Mainieri. And a guy on the text line, Chris McKinney, shout out, said, Mainieri being retained by South Carolina, Missouri's keeping their coach. Are athletic departments around the SEC just gearing up for when rev share hits? So it's a good question. I think there's a couple of parts of it. That is part of it, which is revenue shares coming. Athletic departments in the powered leagues are going to spend $21 million of their revenue allocated to paying the players. So they've got to find $21 million in their budget, either new revenue or budget cuts, some way to make up that $21 million. I think that makes sense. I don't think I need to go into any further detail. Just understand, like LSU generates $200 million in revenue. They spend $200 million. Like there's no surplus. They spend it all. Well, now you got a new $21 million charge coming onto the book, so you have to cut expenses or generate more revenue. So that's why you're seeing a lot of expenses cut around. Anyway. The other part of it, though, is a lot of those would be buyout dollars. Like if you're going to fire Carrick Jackson or Paul Mainieri, to pay those buyouts, that's not coming from your athletic department budget. That's coming through fundraising. The AD will go to certain boosters and say, hey, we need X to buy out this coach. Or are you in for whatever? However the contract's structured, maybe it's a lump sum up front. You negotiate a lower amount, you pay it over 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it is, the term of the deal. So it's not exactly revenue share. My impression is it is two things more prominently. For example, we just saw this with LSU in softball. Now, you all know my affinity for Beth Torina. I think the world of her. I want her to be the LSU coach forever and win national championships. I'm also not dumb. You can't coach at a place like LSU and in 2 of the last 3 years lose a home regional to an in-state school. Lost twice to ULL 2 years ago, and then, I guess, not 2023. Then this weekend, you lost twice to Southeastern. You can't do that. But LSU had just extended Beth Torina. So, my obligation isn't to anyone at LSU, my obligation is to you. So I started making calls, like, is Beth going to be out? And it was kind of 50-50 was the feeling initially. And on Monday, I had a very candid conversation with someone deeply familiar with those conversations who told me point blank, we just have no appetite to pay $1.5 million to fire the coach. So, like, softball doesn't have, these deep-pocketed boosters that are going to pony up $1.5 million to fire Beth and her staff. Beth makes $400,000 a year. She's got 3 years left on her deal. That's 1.2. There's some escalators in there as well, some bonuses, and then her staff as well. It would have been about 1.5. Like, can you go raise 1.5 to buy out your coaching staff? And the better question is, if you can raise 1.5, is that money better spent buying out your coaching staff or buying players? And I think that's where a lot of these schools are. That's where LSU was with basketball. I mean, 14 SEC teams made the NCAA tournament. 2 didn't. One of them was LSU. Matt McMahon kept his job. They could have gone and fundraised to buy out McMahon, but then you have a new coach with the same problem, a crappy roster. So what did they do instead? They took a lot of those NIL dollars and invested into buying a roster and saying, all right, Matt, no more excuses. Here's a roster you can win with. What can you do? I think you're seeing something similar in softball. Now, saw the news yesterday that Sidney Burzon has entered the transfer portal, which is a giant blow to the roster of the program. But then to the point that Chris, the texter, asked about Carrick Jackson and Paul Mainieri, it's the same thing there. Missouri doesn't, I would equate Missouri there in baseball to the conversation I had about Beth Torina and LSU softball. Like, Missouri doesn't have tons of baseball benefactors. Like, they're not dumping resources into that program. And if they're able to generate resources, the resources are better spent buying talent instead of paying your coach to go away. Because the reality is, even if your coach isn't great, if you had a great coach, you still have a lower ceiling when you don't have talent that can compete. So you've got to build a roster. It's a chicken or the egg question. And most schools are choosing to invest in the roster instead of paying exorbitant buyouts for coaches. I think that's what's happening with Carrick Jackson. I think that's what happened with Paul Maneri. I think that's what you just saw with Beth Torina and why she's retained after 2 really embarrassing postseason losses in the last 3 years. Would you rather go raise $1.5 million to buy her out? Or if you could raise $1.5 million, buy the roster? I think that's the answer a lot of these administrators are coming to right now in the NIL era. It's not specifically revenue share because it's different pots of money where those funds are coming from. But it's more to say, would you rather dump those funds into the roster or paying buyouts? And pretty typically what you're seeing now, our administrators say, we'd rather dump it into the roster. See if it works. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Hey, I was texting with my buddy Martin over at Shaw Bills last week, and he was telling me that they're hiring. I wanted to get the info. Here it is. They are hiring at their Laplace location. So they need a seasoned technician at the Laplace location near the shores of world-famous Lake Pontchartrain. Full-time, no weekends. It's a newly renovated facility, and it's an easy commute from Gonzales and really all of Ascension. So if you're living in Ascension or anywhere near Laplace and you're interested and you're a seasoned technician, Shaw Bills and Laplace would love to talk to you. You can call them or apply online at ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. I'm short on time. All right, let me stay on time. I don't want to go too long here. Let me break. We come back. I want you to hear the question that I asked Burke Magnus of ESPN about scheduling for football. We'll get to that when we come back. Also, Blake Baker in his conversation with Jake Hester this morning on Off the Bench talked about Kyle Williams. Lots of other great stuff that I want to make sure we sprinkle throughout. We're going to get to all that here in hour number 2. I'm glad you're hanging out. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. Big shout out to Gordon. Was in studio with us for 30 minutes on Monday. Man, that guy is super busy running a gigantic business, family, all the other stuff he has going on, and still made 30 minutes to come hang out with us on Monday, talk some NIL and all that good stuff. But he's been a great partner of ours, just like he's been a great community partner. Gordon McKernan, injury attorneys. You can go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. And remember, one of the things Gordon said when he was here on Monday is that his podcast studio, the garage, they converted the garage, literally, of their one of their big offices into a podcast studio that they are letting anybody in the public use for free. So you can go learn more. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, or you can call up to the office to get all the info about how you can get on the book, schedule time to use their podcast studio and facility known as the garage. Gorgeous facility if you want to use it. Go to getgordon.com to learn more. Of course, we always tell you, if you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for more than 30 years. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Again, getgordon.com. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart...
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Big shout out, as always, to Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Again, we talk about ED treatments. They got plenty of them, but primarily what they do is hormone therapy. They have tons of other biohacking and healthy options like NAD plus therapy. You could learn more there. BPC 157, which is something that I've started taking as well to help aid in recovery. You can learn more. But when we're talking about testosterone therapy, remember, you're talking about healthy testosterone levels can help cardiovascular health, prostate health, clear brain fog, mood, energy, libido, all of those things like you felt when you were younger. You could safely, affordably supplement at Goodwood. Lowest prices, never any contracts. Learn more, yourgoodwood.com. Just take that step, y'all. Just have the fortitude to take that step to go learn more, yourgoodwood.com. Burke Magnus, who, I mean, I could look up his title over at ESPN, exactly what it is, but he's effectively the guy that's in charge of scheduling at ESPN. So the guy who you look at all the games, he's the president of content. That's his title. He's the president of content. So he's the guy that determines what, they go through negotiations, by the way, with all these leagues to get the rights, but then also what games go on what networks, what channel, at what time. So naturally, I took the opportunity. He was integral in the SEC, ESPN SEC negotiations as well. So I took the opportunity to ask Burke at Barrett Sports Media a couple of weeks ago in Chicago what I think any LSU fan would ask Burke Magnus if given the opportunity.
Burke, I'm with ESPN Radio in Baton Rouge and throughout Louisiana. So this is a pretty selfish question, but you talked about the fun you have putting the 10 pounds into the 5-pound bag with all the scheduling. I work at a place that is absolutely college football obsessed, and there's always this question about schedule times. Our LSU, people in Louisiana would rather die than play football when the sun's out. How do you all determine network kick time for all those games? And this is something that I get asked all the time, like, why does ESPN make us play at 11 a.m.? I'd be fascinated to know that process.
Yeah, the good news is we rarely do that with LSU, and I did sort of secretly enjoy the mini revolt that happened in the Big Ten this year with the noon games on Fox, and actually what you're describing, that dynamic you described, gave us an enormous advantage when we were trying to acquire the CBS package from the SEC and add it to the rest of what we had, and it also drove the dynamic of what you saw this year relative to what it had been in the past. Like, I remember it was a couple years ago. It was one of the national championship seasons for LSU, where they were at 2:30 Central on CBS like 7 times or something like that. And I think Joe Oliva at the time had to write a letter like apologizing to fans. Like what we sold the SEC on is, hey, we're going to have 3 windows most weeks on ABC plus primetime on ESPN, and we're not going to approach it the way CBS did. Like, it doesn't have the number 1 game is not necessarily at 3:30. And by the way, the SEC is so deep that sometimes there's a hard you can't really distinguish between the number 1 game and the number 2 game or even the number 3 game. So we're much more focused on what works for local fan bases. Not every single time, because it would be impossible, but we know that LSU wants to play at night, and they're going to get the preponderance of that. Ole Miss was a little upset at this year because they didn't get as much prime time as they wanted, and Lane wanted more prime time. So we're in a position now with the Southeastern Conference where we have unbelievable flexibility between all the networks that carry SEC games to try and fulfill those requests, and also confirm a bunch of game times well in advance. I think we confirm times for 50% of all SEC football games in advance of the season, which is completely different and new, and is a function of us having all the games and not having to wait for CBS, which, by the way, they used to hold, even though they had the number 1 pick in a single game, they used to hold the rest of the entire schedule, even like those non-conference games early in the season, which are not going to be on CBS at 3:30. So, long story short, we're trying our best to make sure that we take a cultural lens to game selections, as much as we can.
I thought that was a great answer, especially to say the president of content. If you wondered about it, that's the president of content at ESPN telling you point blank he is aware that LSU wants to play night games. He referenced the Joe Oliva thing from several years, which was a thing. I mean, that was back during the whole schedule tiff where the Bama and Auburn wanted to play Tennessee and Georgia respectively, and so Joe Oliva very publicly was like, fine, if we're going to organize the entire SEC schedule to preserve those games, we want night games. And so the league and partners worked hard to try to get night games, but CBS was always the bugaboo there because CBS wanted at least 1 game in Tiger Stadium every year. And so if you play, that 2:30 game in Tiger Stadium on CBS and you play road games on CBS 2:30, then you look up and, a third of your league schedule or half of your league schedule ends up being at 2:30, which happened a lot. And this is one of those instances where with ESPN having the contract now, I mean, I think the only home day game last year was UCLA, wasn't it? Wasn't it the only one? Or is there one I'm missing? I mean, they played South Carolina on the road.
At home, that was the only one.
So he's right. I mean, they did work very hard to try to eliminate those day games in Tiger Stadium, and hopefully that's something we see again this year. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. By the way, brought to you by Supper Club, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. It's Wednesday. They'll be opening up in 38 minutes from right now, 5 o'clock. They'll open up, knocking off of work. You can always pop in a Supper Club right there on Perkins Road. Open seating at the bar. You never need a reservation to go to the bar. Open seating at the bar, and you never know. On a weeknight, maybe you get lucky, and you snag a table when you just walk into Supper Club. Always, though, recommend getting your reservation, and always recommend, of course, Supper Club for any occasion. Maybe you got clients in town, you want to go have a glass of wine, pop one into Supper Club. I'm going to be meeting my partners at Our Lady of the Lake for dinner at Supper Club here in a few weeks. Great place to go do business. Great place to celebrate any occasion, a birthday, an anniversary, graduation season. You want the great dining experience and the best meal you'll eat anywhere in Baton Rouge? You want Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com. 3 years old. Happy birthday to Supper Club. Get your reservation, SupperClubBTR.com. Hey, Muse, did that make you hungry? That ad, the Supper Club ad?
It did make me hungry, as a matter of fact, yeah.
Was it the ad or was it the time of day?
No, it was the ad. I mean, you make it sound so good. I mean, talking about the veal, and steak, and all that, man. I mean, it's mouthwatering.
Paul, you think he just got the munchies?
He definitely has the munchies.
I mean, check out what time it is.
Right on cue.
Right on cue. Muse.
What is this? What is this?
Little ditty.
Ah.
Made a song about you, Muse.
What does that even mean? What?
You riding shotgun with Puff?
No.
That's what the song said. Rolling down I-10.
Not bad.
Paul knows, but he ain't saying
Paul knows. See?
Paul.
Paul knows, but he don't say nothing. He sits there and smiles the whole time.
Yeah, that's all Paul
While
does.
Moose gets the munchies
Wow.
over there. That's what he does. He's puffing the magic dragon. Mm-hmm.
A lot of good times, a lot of laughs.
What else?
That's it. No.
Your weed brownies, see?
No.
Your weed brownies. Everybody knows you bring those weed brownies, Muse.
I don't.
Well, you got the munchies right now.
No munchies.
Shout out my guy Joel, shouting out the beef tips over at Supper Club.
Mm.
Really good.
I do love beef tips.
Well, you're not actually always that happy.
I'm not.
You're not. You're actually pretty angry. You're an angry elf. Except
I love
Paul.
that freaking part.
Like what is now? They flipped it onto Paul.
Hey.
Go, Paulie.
You're just taking random shots at Paul all of a sudden.
You did call me smart.
I mean,
This is a dangerous path that I started walking down last night.
yeah, it is.
I found an AI music app. That's a song about our hippie pothead friend.
Oh yeah,
Muso.
there you go, hippie. That hit it right on the head with me, hippie. There's a lot of things about me that just scream hippie.
After all, Marilyn Monroe Muso did name you Matthew Hendricks Muso.
She did not.
After I just
She did
possible.
not.
That's why she did it, perhaps. Yeah. I may or may not have asked AI to write a New Orleans Saints diss track about Mickey Loomis. I don't know. Debating if
We got to clean that one up if we're gonna.
there's just one.
I
There's
know.
one word. Just one word. Maybe next hour. We got Pete Fiutak at 5 at the top of hour 3. Then Jared Mitchell. Maybe before Otter.
Yeah, we could do that.
If you want to hear my Mickey Loomis AI diss track, which ones did you like? When I sent you last night, I sent both of you in our text chat. Which one did you like better?
I like the pothead one better. I thought it was funnier.
It's because it's about you. It's always about
No,
you.
no, no.
Paul, which one did you like better?
I like the one about us because it was about us.
You didn't like the diss track?
Oh, I did. That one's very good.
No, I mean it's good, but if you ask me which one I like better, I mean I just.
It's always about you, Muse.
It's not all of it. Paul said he
Which
liked
one
that
I
one
like
better too.
Which one did I like better?
Which one did you
It's
like
about us.
better?
The diss track.
Yeah,
It's really good.
Just to be different. Just no one else said that.
No,
You're gonna say that.
It's called Gum Smack and Mick. It's
It is.
really good.
It is called Gum Smack and Mick. I thought when you sent it last night, I thought a listener, just some random listener, made it and sent it to you.
No,
but
that was done in about 30 seconds on
yeah.
AI, which is an awesome. People go, "That's terrifying." No, that is awesome.
It's pretty terrifying
you know
too, though.
Do you know what that means? The possibilities are. I can make songs every show if I want now.
Like, what did you type in for the one about the pothead?
I said, I was like, give me a song about Matt Muso, a sports talk radio producer in Baton Rouge, who's a pothead. Include references to Puff the Magic Dragon, Weed Brownies. The show is After Further Review with Matt Moscona.
Okay.
Also reference Paul O'Neill, the video producer, who doesn't say much but always goes along with the joke. And that's what popped up.
Okay. I was just curious, like, how much detail you went in, because, I mean, they were like, they had the show name and, you know.
It's like, it's like 350 characters or something you could use. So you don't have a lot of space.
Right.
So you give it some keywords, and then that's what came up. And you have to choose what genre. So I went with blues.
That was blues?
Well, that's what it said.
Okay.
It was blues. So.
It sounded almost a little more country to me, but okay.
Well, I was looking for country, but that wasn't an option.
Yeah.
So it was blues, and it kind of came out a little blues rock.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. So,
yeah.
Anyway. All right, it's after further review. Okay. Let me know if you like that. Can we put up a poll? I wish we could put the song up somewhere so then people could.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, we can put up a poll, yes. It's just not everybody might have heard it.
I'd have to. Oh, that's true. Greg Lehman sent a text, said, I don't think we've heard Paul speak since March when he faked a PTA meeting to watch March Madness.
Dude, I forgot Paul did that.
Paul did. You know what? The next diss track is about Paul for no showing. That's what's going to happen.
I just wanted to watch some hoops.
I kind of want to play I think if I go start making AI songs every day, it's going to annoy the audience. But I kind of want to do it anyway. I just like, this is a new toy I want to play with this toy every day.
I mean, how many more do you have in the back pocket that you're just thinking about?
All right, in the break,
all right,
I'll make another one.
Okay.
About this feels like whose line is it anyway?
Yeah,
that's kind of this
pulling
feels
something
like.
out the hat. Here we go.
Let me do one about Jimmy for Otterlocks.
Right.
I'll do one about the Otter.
All right.
We'll play it We'll play it in 1 hour from right now.
All right.
We'll play it in 1 hour from right now. I'll do one about Otterlocks, about Jimmy. All right.
All right.
All right. It's AFR.
AFR.
GLO, glowresources.com. They are complete employer solutions. I had a buddy call me yesterday, said, hey, we need at our business, probably like 50 employees for about a month in the summer. Could Glow help us? I said, nope. That's not what they do. I always tell you what they are by telling you what they are not. They are not a temp staffing agency. Glow Resources trying to find you, not trying, they do. They're trying to find you the best employee that's a permanent solution for that job you're trying to fill. Everything from skilled blue-collar labor, C-level management, any type of industry. Maritime, legal, accounting, media, whatever business industry you're in. If your business is not achieving max productivity because you don't have the right people, let Glow Resources help. They do some 15,000 interviews every single year. They know the right questions to ask to find you the right people. GLO, glowresources.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Turn that down. I'll give you a brief snippet.
I kind of like it. I mean,
I did an emo song about Jimmy Ott. Oh, man. I will play that next hour. I'll play the full thing next hour. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you with us. I'm usually Tigers and the Pros here in about 10 minutes. Blake Baker was a guest on Off the Bench with Jacob Hester on Wednesday. And like anytime the defensive coordinator is going to take time during the end of May and talk about the team, of course, that's something we're going to talk about here. It was interesting because while they went through spring, and I remember whenever Kyle Williams was hired, Blake Baker, during his spring media availability, was asked about Kyle Williams. And he talked then at the time about how much synergy, how they saw eye to eye on a defensive strategy and approach. And I do think it's important because Bo Davis, and I am not gonna speak negatively about Bo Davis. I think it was a huge coup getting him from Texas. I desperately wanted Bo Davis to stay here for a very long time, and him leaving, I think, is a loss. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Arguably the best college defensive line coach in the game today. You had him at his alma mater, and he left. That sucks. And you replace him with a guy that has never coached in college. It's a gigantic risk. We have to acknowledge that. It also doesn't mean that it can't work, and it might just work. And now, from hearing Blake Baker in the middle of spring, right, to now that they've gone through spring, this recruiting period as well, they've got to know each other better. Now Blake Baker's talking about that transition from Bo Davis to Kyle Williams. Listen.
It's really been seamless. I mean, it's really been quite impressive when you talk about, all the intricacies of college football. The X's and O's and the coaching part is the minimal as far as, the adjustment. But the way he's picked it up in recruiting, the way he manages his room, he's really, really impressive. And the one thing that I love about Kyle is you know where you stand. He's pretty much a straight shooter, yes. and I appreciate that. And I think he's done an outstanding job with our defensive tackles.
The other thing that I think is so important is fitting the personnel to Kyle Williams' style, which is dramatically different than Bo Davis. For example, Dylan Battle is the freshman defensive lineman who, unfortunately, just transferred out, right? He was here for the spring. We talked about it at the time. Bo Davis was heavily recruiting him at Texas, and he flips to LSU. I guess he was never committed to LSU, but commits to Texas. He commits to LSU, signs with LSU before they even open up spring. Bo Davis is gone to the Saints. Dylan Battle's here to play for the coach that recruited him, and now that coach isn't here. Well, Dylan Battle, as an incoming freshman, is 6'2", 315. Again, that's a guy who should be in the final semester of his high school career. 6'2", 315. You went in the portal and got a fifth-year defensive tackle in Bernard Gooden from South Florida, who's 6'1", 280. What Bo Davis wanted, what Kyle Williams wants, physically are dramatically different. And that's something that Blake Baker acknowledged.
Yeah, it was one of the first things when we sat down and kind of talked about this job opening. You know, he talked about how the NFL has changed over the years, and that's really kind of when his career took off, when he wasn't necessarily being a two-gap defensive lineman or a defensive lineman that's holding offensive linemen off linebackers, and he's able to use his speed and quickness. You know, that's what the game's evolved to, and that's what we want here, and that's what he views the game as. So it's all married up really well.
Listen, just look. I mentioned Dylan Battle. You could look also at what two interior defensive linemen that LSU added in this portal cycle. Not this cycle, this entire portal year. Bo Davis, in the December portal window, wants Sadir Mitchell, a 350-pound defensive lineman who transferred in, who he had at Texas. 350. Actually, I'm trying to look at exactly where they have Sadir Mitchell listed. They got him at 6'6", 355. That may be generous, by the way. 6'6", 355, Bo Davis brings in. Kyle Williams brings in 6'1", 280. Like, Bo Davis wants Vita Vea. Kyle Williams wants Aaron Donald. Both are great. They're dramatically different, stylistically. What do you want your interior linemen to be? Do you want them to be space eaters to keep offensive linemen off of the linebackers? Or do you want dudes that are going to be fast, physical, aggressive, and get upfield and make plays? Kyle Williams wants fast, physical, aggressive to get upfield and make plays. Bo Davis wants giant space eaters that are going to create a car crash at the line of scrimmage, free up the linebackers to go make plays. Neither one is right or wrong, good or bad. Not one isn't better or worse. They're just different. How does what Kyle Williams want mesh with what Blake Baker wants as the overall thesis of the defense? Could be a big part of this year. Because last season, you did not have great talent on your defensive line. Like, Gio Paez played out of position and did yeoman's work. Same thing, I would say, with Paris Shand kicking inside. You asked Ahmad Bros, a true freshman, to put on weight from a defensive end, kick inside, and play tackle in the SEC. And they played dramatically over their heads because they had a great coach in Bo Davis. It's going to be different with Kyle Williams. That's undeniable. Doesn't mean it's not going to be good, but it's going to be different. We'll see if it works. And one more, Baker was asked how these tackles are adjusting and adjusted in spring to Kyle Williams.
I think they're enjoying being able to get in the backfield and make some plays and doing some things differently. And, you know, you take a little bit from everything, a little bit of everything from each coach you've had, but I can see those guys really gravitating towards the style of play that we want, and he's doing a fantastic job for us.
It is worth mentioning, Ahmad Bro, rising sophomore, played for Kyle Williams at Ruston, 6'3", 280. I look at the bigger defensive tackles, and I am curious how that's going to work. Sadir Mitchell, Jacobian Guillory, 6'2", 320, your sixth-year player. Dom McKinley, 6'6", 306. Like, how do those guys play in this defense? Some of the other freshmen you brought in, look, Buddy Mathis, 6'1", 285. Brandon Brown, 6'1", 291. That does fit more like what Kyle Williams wants. Maybe the plan for those guys long-term was to get him bigger. I mean, Zion Williams, 6'4", 355. That's a Bo Davis defensive lineman if you ever saw one. How does he fit with Kyle Williams? It'd be fascinating to see. Got an early look in spring, but continuing to evolve here through it all. By the way, I actually just got a text from Pete Jenkins. I wanted to have Coach Pete on today. Matt, working with the Dolphins. Be home Saturday. Thank you. Want to come on? Cool. Coach Pete, working with the Dolphins. How about that?
Love Coach Pete so much.
We'll talk to Coach Pete next week. The Louisiana Line Camp is coming up, so we always have Coach Pete, Kevin Mawai on to promote the Line Camp coming up in June. Did that when I was in high school. Highly, highly recommend, man. If you're a high school coach, if you're the parent of a high school football player, get them to the Line Camp. I mean, high school coaches from all over the state, Hall of Famer Kevin Mawai, Pete Jenkins, their offense, defense. Make sure you get to Louisiana Line Camp. Next week, we'll talk to Kevin Mawai and Coach Pete about Line Camp and football and all that good stuff. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break, come back. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros. Stick around.
After further review.
If you are thinking about selling your home, maybe you've been on the fence, you've looked at rates and everything, like if you do sell, can you afford to buy the next home? Listen, the market right now is in fuego. I was talking to Darren James over the weekend, and he was like, Matt, this is the start of 2025 is the best start we've ever had. I'm telling you, consumer confidence is back. It is time right now to check out Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com. Yes, in Baton Rouge, but all over. Like, I just opened this one up. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo in Slidell that Darren's selling right on the water there on Harbor Drive. You can check it out, 129. You can check it out right now at agent225.com, agent225.com. Listen, buying, selling, commercial, residential, you need a realtor, you need the best, you need Darren James. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
One quick reminder, of course, Goodwood, same partnership with Unique Physique and coming soon, Unique Aesthetics. Unique Physique has the GLP-1 medications, that's semaglutide, tirzepatide. If you want to learn more, uniquephysique.com. And coming soon, Unique Aesthetics, which is an all-encompassing aesthetic practice. They'll have Botox, filler, wrinkle relaxant, laser hair removal, other types of red light laser therapies, all of that stuff, skin tightening, all the aesthetic practices. Right now, they gave me a custom URL, and you can get, before they open on June the 2nd, you can get deeply discounted, like best ever prices before they open. So you can go to shopwithmatt.com. Guys, maybe it's not for you. Like maybe you do Botox and stuff. That's great if you do. Terrio does it all the time. I have before. It's awesome. But if maybe it's for your wife, let wife, girlfriend, fiance, let them know. Shopwithmatt.com, shopwithmatt.com. That'll give you the link to the deep discounts on all of their services before they open on June the 2nd. Shopwithmatt.com. Speaking of Matt, it is Matthew Shocky Eye Trash Musso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
We call that a callback.
Could Paul Skeens
in the biz
be on the move already?
No.
Well, people are talking about it.
And
Jeff Passan, pretty reputable guy. He's on the Pat McAfee show saying teams are going to call. They're already talking about contacting the Pittsburgh Pirates, seeing if they're willing to trade Paul Skeens away after just a year of service time. For what it's worth, Jeff Passan says, in his expert opinion, he doesn't believe that will happen. And then John Heyman doubled down even more. That guy's always right, though, right? John Heyman says a source from the Pirates told him, no way, no chance, no how. The Pirates believe they can build around Paul Skeens. I don't believe that at all. I think the Pirates are a ridiculous organization, and this is just delaying the inevitable. I get not trading him because of service time and all that. I understand. He will not finish his career in Pittsburgh, and I don't think they'll have any success with him anyway.
Never have more value than he has right now.
It's true. He won't. He won't. But they're going to build around him over there in Pittsburgh. By the way, they won their game last night 1-0. Yeah.
Awesome.
Gee. Where was that one run the other night, losers? All right. Alex Bregman. No.
Should be.
He's even from the state.
Well, if he was from the state, then he would have gone to Cal. Back-to-back state champs, by the way, Muse.
Yeah.
Crank up the fight song.
Yeah, I saw they beat
Brother Martin.
Brother Martin. I saw that the other day, yeah.
It was an all-Bosch battle. Brothers of the Sacred Heart, the Bosch.
The Bosch, there you go.
All-Bosch battle. Calic High, no problem with the Crusaders. That's my dad's alma mater, by the way.
Ooh, talk a little trash.
No, I love Brother Martin too, man.
Okay.
When I was a kid, like if we had stayed in New Orleans, I probably would have ended up at Pop's alma mater. But I'm glad for the way it worked out because I went to the best high school in the world.
Alex Bregman went 1 out of 3 a night ago. It was a late single for him in the 8th inning, but he did draw a walk earlier in the game as well. So he just continues to pace really, really efficiently. Dylan Cruz, second straight. No.
Should have been.
No, he's from Florida.
Doesn't matter. I just hear great baseball players' names. I'm just like,
well,
wouldn't you think the same thing?
Yeah. I was trying to get you a Josh Smith in there today, but it's a rough night for a guy.
What about a Naz Reid?
Hold on. I actually watched a little bit of that game last night.
Look at you.
Proud of me? Yeah. How about that?
Look at you, sports talk radio guy watching sports.
I watched the end of Florida, South Carolina. Then I watched the Red Sox, and then I watched OKC in Minnesota. Dylan Cruz, second straight game with a home run. In fact, it was his only hit. 1 out of 1 against Paulie's Braves. It was tied 3-3, and then Dylan Cruz said, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
It would end up being the go-ahead run, and all the Nationals would need for Cruz, and he also would draw a walk. And then Naz Reid.
Should have stayed.
Not a great night scoring, 4 points. All of them came in the fourth quarter, but he did grab 8 boards, so real solid there. Just 1 out of 11, man, from the floor. Tough go of it. Keep an eye on him in that series, though. He averaged a good double-double against OKC.
That game really got away from Minnesota.
Quickly.
What part of the game did you watch?
I picked it up in the third quarter. After the Red Sox beat the Mets, I changed over to OKC. So it was like into the third quarter. It was tight then.
Really competitive in the first half. And then it really got away from Minnesota.
Just was not competitive at all.
No, it was not.
38-22 was your score in the fourth quarter.
That's a lot.
That's rough. All right, that's Suckers of the Pros.
Presented by Parrish Construction and Roofing. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction Roofing. As a matter of fact, we have a group text of all of the Parrish partners and then all of our staff and everybody. And with the awful weather earlier today, we got notification of hail strikes in Zachary. So just something to be mindful of always. Central, Zachary, I'm looking at the map right here. Central and Zachary, there were hail strikes today. So north of Baton Rouge. If you had hail, think you might have had hail, you could have damage that is not visible from the ground. There's always ways to notice if you have damage. Missing shingles is always a telltale. If you start to see the granules from your roof on the ground, look at your gutters. When you look at the downspout when it rains, if you start to see those granules come out, that's a pretty good indicator that you have roof damage. The inspection is always free and there's no obligation. And it's a great way to provide a baseline. So if a storm does come and you have damage, you could say, look, here is what our inspection report showed on May 21st. Here's what the roof looks like now. Clearly, this storm is what did the damage. It's worth having. I would encourage anybody, especially before storm season, to get that free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Parrishbuilt.com, parrishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction Roofing. It's parrishbuilt.com. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad you're hanging out with us here on this Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Pete Fiutak, college football news coming up after the top of the hour. And when the current game goes final, Jared Mitchell will be on the set on SEC Network doing the post-game. As soon as he's done on set with post-game at SEC Network, he'll be here with us on After Further Review, and we'll get to Otter Locks as well. And yes, I will play the AI-generated Jimmy Ott, the Degenerate Gambler song that I just created in the last break, and I can't wait. I listened to about 10 seconds of it. It is on and popping. We got a hit, Muse. Better than your Pothead song. Eat that, Muse.
After Further Review.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. We're brought to you by Evermore. Drink Evermore, EVAMOR, evermore.com, evermore.com. For elite athletes, for someone who just wants a healthier lifestyle. Maybe you're a parent, you want a healthier option for your children. Evermore is a great option. I would highly encourage you, bottom line, if you're drinking tap water, don't. Bare minimum, filter your tap water. But the best option is Evermore. This is natural artesian water. It's underground aquifers on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain, right there in Covington. They dug well into that aquifer, and I mean, it's literally thousands of years in the making. That's why they call it Mother Nature's masterpiece. That's what they're pulling out of the ground. The only filtration is take like the sediment from the ground out of the water, and it goes right into the bottle. So it never touches air until you uncap it, take that first delicious sip. Learn more where you can buy it, great retailers or online, EVAMOR, evermore.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. ESPN's Sham Charania reports Oklahoma City's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's earned his first NBA MVP after winning his first scoring title and leading the Thunder to a league-high 68 wins. Tonight will mark the first time in a quarter of a century the Knicks will host an NBA Eastern Conference Finals game when they take on the Pacers in Game 1, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. While Indiana would certainly love to steal home court advantage, Coach Rick Carlisle takes a 2-week approach to a playoff series, explains ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst.
The Pacers are like a boxer. They are going to inflict body blows, with the intent of winning it at the end, and also winning Game 4, winning Game 6. Go ask the Cleveland Cavaliers. They were exhausted at the end of those games.
Oilers and Stars open up the NBA's West Final tonight in Dallas, 8 Eastern, ESPN. Push on, Eagles. The proposal to ban the play run to perfection by the Super Bowl champs fell 2 votes shy of being passed at today's NFL spring meeting. The Bills will be featured on HBO's Hard Knocks this summer during training camp.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive is here for all of life's needs, with protection for your home, auto, business, and more. From timely repairs to customizable coverages and payment options, we make it easy. See if you can save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
So. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. We'll get to Jared Mitchell coming up at the bottom of the hour from Hoover. An update from the SEC tournament. Jimmy will be here for Otter Locks at the end of hour number 3. I was looking up Pete Fiutak's Twitter. His most recent tweet is vehemently opposing Notre Dame and Wisconsin playing a game at Lambeau Field. The tweet prior to that: you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Or if you're Naz Reid, the 3-pointers you do take. My guy's throwing shade at our LSU guy, so I should have stayed, Muse. Pete, how are you, man?
As someone who grew up in Minneapolis and actually kind of has a rooting interest in this and went to Wisconsin, yeah, I'm blowing everything up. You want the craziest fun stat when it comes to Minnesota sports is that for a city in an area with at least 3 of the 4 major sports, the last time a Minnesota team's been in a championship, not win one, in one, was the 1991 Twins. So that's how far back you got to go for any of these teams to do anything right. And Naz Reid clanking everything last night, that hurts.
So Naz is a great player, as you well know, and we have a joke here on the show. We do a segment called Tigers and the Pros. We do it every day, and it was literally the previous segment of the show. And I always go, should have stayed, because there was this thing when he was a one and done, and people melted. And I'm like, you don't understand. God didn't make a lot of dudes that are 6'10" with soft hands and great feet. Like he's friggin' predator. He's going to be a really good NBA player. There's no reason he should have come back to college. But anyway, so we're literally making that joke right before he came on. I looked at your Twitter was there.
It's the weirdest thing though, because like the NBA, I pay attention to college basketball. I think like they are making up half the names that are on the mock draft for the NBA, because like this guy played college for Baylor. I guess I watched Baylor, but I didn't notice this guy. Like it's not like the NFL draft. It's you would think that these guys who are great in college now matter, and they're just not. They're all these kind of guys because they have such specific skill sets. They're all named Jalen or Jaden, by the way. And then they all get there. Like Rutgers didn't even make the NCAA tournament. They got the second and third best guys in this draft. Like it's crazy how it's so much different than it is when it comes to the NFL and the NFL draft.
That's so true, man. I think we'd agree on this. The NBA is just a dramatically superior product to college basketball. It's very hard for me to watch college basketball where I don't have a rooting interest. So yeah, you're right.
The playoffs. You don't need. There's zero need. I have a friend I'm arguing this all the time. I cannot watch a regular season basketball game because there's absolutely no point. And then you get to the playoffs and every second is awesome.
Yeah.
But and regular season they're just killing time. It's dinner theater. But then once you get to this, it's fantastic.
Pete Fiutak is with us. We could say the complete opposite of college football, where every game seems to have a lot riding on it, and it's always great theater. The odds to win the SEC championship are updated, and LSU is fourth behind Texas, Georgia, and Alabama. Pete, I admit, I do my very best not to look through purple and gold colored glasses. I am surprised. I mean, I really do. And people here will tell you sometimes they get pissed at me because they think I'm too far the other way. But I look at LSU's roster and I go, I think this is the best roster in the SEC after what they did in the transfer portal. I don't understand the over-under 8.5 being behind Bama and Georgia in these odds. You're from an outside perspective. Sometimes it's hard to see the forest through the trees. What am I missing there that is still the hesitancy on LSU?
I mean, besides Brian Kelly as your head coach. But they're good. I mean, they're talented, obviously, but I think you're not missing anything other than you just have to kind of look down the schedule. And, we forget now we're in a college football playoff expansion era where there is room to miss and you can lose 2 games and be okay. You can't really lose 3, though. And if you look down that LSU schedule, it's not, there's always those games like last year. If you were to look at this time and say the Ole Miss schedule, well, Kentucky, that's a win. And it's not,
Right.
That's kind of the hard part now where it's going to be that out of left field loss coming from where they do lose on a last second, play or something like this. And are there going to be 3 losses in that mix? Are those games? Is the defense better enough where they will come on the right side of those 48-46 shootouts that are going to come? But certainly it's as talented as anybody else. And look, this year, and this is why I kind of laugh, all these people who do their, they're way too early, top 25s and stuff like this. They're guessing. It's such a guess right now. I mean, I'm fine-toothing all this stuff. It's like last year was easy. I'm not that bright. But that last year at this exact time, I was yelling at everyone, all my degenerate gambler friends, just go heavy Ohio State. They're going to win the national title. They have more talent than everyone else. They're going to win it all. That was easy. Michigan was actually kind of easy the year before. This year, honestly, ask the average college football fan, who the top 10 teams are. Now ask to name their starting quarterbacks. I mean, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon. Right down the line. I mean, there's like 8 of the top 10 teams. There's a Drew Aller and maybe Arch Manning, but then everyone else has got new starting quarterbacks and a whole lot of uncertainty. So seems like it's going to be one of those years more like 2019 where there's going to be an out of left field team that just rises up and rocks that we're just not quite seeing right now. And it might be this LSU team, kind of like it was in 19.
To your point about quarterbacks, I mean, LSU has an answer, and it's the leading returning passer in all of college football. So I'll pose it that way. Like, why isn't Garrett Nussmeier is literally the only 4,000-yard returning passer in the country. Why isn't Garrett Nussmeier in this offense getting more play outside of here?
It will, because it's LSU and it hasn't really played. I mean, remember, Jaden Daniels didn't get that much hype until he started kicking. And remember, obviously, Joe Burrow was just a guy. I mean, no one saw. I mean, he was just going to be a starting quarterback, and maybe a fifth-round draft pick flyer at best. And then all of a sudden, he turns into that in one of the greatest seasons of all time. So it might kick in fast, but it's hard because Arch Manning's going to suck all the oxygen out of the quarterback room, especially in the SEC world this year. And then everyone else out there is trying to look for the next big thing that's kind of a little out there, a little exciting. Maybe I'm not quite on the Lenora Stellars train like everyone else is, and the DJ Lagway, and and all on and on. So, but it'll happen. He's going to be a great passer. The pro scouts are all over him, and certainly he's going to put up a gajillion yards this year.
Pete Fiutak, College Football News. Let me follow up on you saying Arch is going to suck the air out of the quarterback room. Can you elaborate? What do you mean there?
He's number one. Everyone's going to assume this is the year for Arch. Like last year, Cam Moore's a nice number one overall pick. Arch Manning is seen as, because of the last name, because of all the hype, because that he's about as clean a prospect as you can find in terms of just mechanics and coached up and tools and all that. He is the number one pick in the NFL draft next year, and on a Texas team that, until they can prove that they can get by Steve Sarkisian's bad coaching, that's going to be the team that's going to rise up. That's going to be in the front and center all year long. And so when it comes to who are the top quarterbacks in college football this year, everyone knows. Lots of the diehard college football fans know who Cade Klubnik is, but Clemson is ACC good. It's not really national title good. Drew Aller's at least a name, but in Penn State's pretty good. But again, this happens every time that people don't, especially voters in the polls, don't know who the starting quarterback is. If you can't name them, it's hard to really get excited. And everyone knows Arch Manning, and everyone knows Texas was close last year, so everyone's going to put Texas at the top three, if not number one.
Got it. So you're saying that it'll just be all the conversation all year with Arch.
Yeah.
That makes a ton of sense. Pete Fiutak's with us, College Football News, on Twitter at Pete Fiutak, Fiutak. Give him a follow. When we started, you mentioned obviously Brian Kelly speaking as a detriment. Same question, Kalen DeBoer. Why should someone be bullish on Kalen DeBoer?
First year, I mean, he does deserve a little time to get this thing going, and he was so good so fast at Fresno State and then at Washington, where everyone just took to his offense. If this thing, as good as Jalen Milroe was, and I thought he was actually should have deserved more Heisman hype and consideration 2 years ago in Daniels' year. He wasn't quite the player for this offense. He's a great deep ball thrower, and he runs. But this offense that DeBoer runs, when he gets the right guys in place, it's going to put up 1,000,000 yards. The difference for Alabama is he's never really had a defense, and Alabama, it doesn't really work. So it's only 1 year. So you got to give him a lot of leeway, because it's impossible. No one's going to follow Nick Saban and do that. We're never going to see that. So I'm giving him a little bit of a break on that. Whereas, Brian Kelly, he's a made man. I still can think he's, forgetting all the other stuff that happened in Notre Dame. He's on the field. He's one of the more underappreciated guys at Notre Dame, because one, Irish fans don't really like him at this point, and also he won a lot of games for them. He's always kind of produced. He wins games. But now at LSU, obviously, you want him to win national championships, not just be in the consideration every year.
You mentioned Sellers and Lagway not being high on them. By the way, I completely agree with you there. So if you take Sellers, Lagway, or South Carolina, Florida out of the mix, what is a team, Pete, that's lurking that maybe you think isn't getting as much conversation as maybe it deserves?
At least in the SEC? I mean, at the moment, I think there's an underestimation, if possible, at Georgia. I mean, they still have a lot of no-name guys, but they're really good. They seem to have fixed the glitch at wide receiver, which that was the one thing over the last couple of years. They somehow did not have the explosiveness that you would want in the passing game. even with Carson Beck throwing. So everyone dogged Carson Beck for being bad. I think it was more of the receivers. I think Beck's going to go off for Miami this year. And then in the SEC, I think people are going to start dogging Alabama and kind of saying, oh, well, DeBoer, this isn't the same as Saban. But that's a top 5 overall team. And Georgia's certainly got the talent to be a number 1 overall team. But in lurking, Ole Miss is going to, I think, take a little bit of a step back. South Carolina is good, and they're going to get overhyped because of Sellers. I think there's a little bit too much love on Florida. So like you mentioned before, like, why not LSU? Well, yeah, that might be the team that is going to start the season about 11th-ish or so in most of the rankings and be right there in the mix for a lot of big things.
Yeah, it's interesting, Pete. I feel like the narrative here, and again, like, it's hard to see the forest through the trees. Admittedly, this feels an awful lot like Mettenberger from 12 to 13, Burrow from 18 to 19, Daniels from 22 to 23. Now you have a fifth-year quarterback and a second-year starting. They just went and bought a gigantic portal class. It feels like they're poised. Now, I asked you who's underrated, and you hesitate on the SC. It kind of sounded like maybe nationally that you have that team in mind. So if it's not in the SC, who is the team that maybe we're sleeping on right now we should be paying more attention to?
All right, there's two ways to look at this. One way is
I knew you had this. I knew you had the answer locked, ready to go. All right, let's hear it.
Because you have to remember the number one thing right now in college football is what is your schedule, and with all this expansion stuff, do you miss Alabama and Georgia and Tennessee? Or do you have to play? Do you miss the top teams? Do you miss Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan? And what does your schedule look like? Basically, pick your Big 12 team and go. And who really bought themselves a team, as you put it, with LSU? Texas Tech.
I knew it.
Has done nothing. There are certain programs out there everyone thinks are good, like Ole Miss, but you look and they just have never really won anything. Texas Tech's never won anything. I mean, they had the one blip of a year under Mike Leach, and even then, they were like the third best team in their own division and didn't really do much with it. Texas Tech has never, ever done anything. And they've been kind of close over the last few years, and they've got the money there. Then they went and got themselves a team because talent-wise, they are low. The problem, though, is, again, the schedule. So, like, you look at the Texas Tech schedule, every team in the Big 12 is capable of winning a game. Like, you can, even the Cincinnati's and Kansas and, remember, the teams that were supposed to be awesome last year stunk. Utah was awful. Arizona was awful. Oklahoma State was awful. And they're all good again. So, but talent-wise, it's Texas Tech. And I'm going to give you another name based on just schedule to kind of watch out for. They talk about the oxygen in the room being sucked out. Let's see what old Bill Belichick does with North Carolina. Because for all the other, salacious stuff happening, he's still Bill Belichick. And they don't play anybody. That's not a great team, but that is a 10-2, record about to happen there with the Tar Heels. And all this other stuff will be kind of a quirky, side note. If the ball's kicked off and all of a sudden the Tar Heels, it's, November, I was like, wait a minute here. North Carolina is like 9-1 or something, and they're in the college football playoff mix. So again, long-winded way of saying it's really all about the schedules and who you get.
Aside from October the 4th against Clemson, I'll give Bill Belichick the edge in every game they play until they get to November. Like, you're completely right about it. I mean, it's a whole lot of
and they're not going to be very good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're not good. And then the flip side of that, you want to go back to the SEC team. Take a look at like Oklahoma and Wisconsin. You want to talk about two proud programs? Look at their schedule and find me 6 sure thing wins on either one. I mean, it really does depend on who you play.
I always say it's who has the most manageable schedule. The fewest question on the roster against the most manageable schedule. You want to look at how you're projecting a team. It's a great way to do it. And you're 100% right about North Carolina. I'm looking at Oklahoma's schedule too. It's brutal. Like, you're right. Find me 6 wins. Gonna be a bumpy road up there in Norman this year. But can't get here soon enough. Pete Fiutak, of course, publisher over at College Football News, and get it there and get him on Twitter at Pete Fiutak. Always appreciate the convo, man. Thanks so much for the time.
And when LSU becomes this dominant force that rips through this whole season, I'll claim that I told you first that they were going to be awesome. I'll just say that I
don't know, man. Right out the gate, you had a pretty fervent shot across the bow to Brian Kelly. I think I might clip that for you, Pete.
Oh, fine. Go ahead. If that's what does it, that did happen like in '98, where actually I wrote something Virginia Tech got mad at it and they used it for something. If that's the impetus that puts LSU over the top, I would be ecstatic to have that.
Pete Fiutak, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time.
Have a good one.
All right, be well. It's after further review. We're gonna go.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark Hotel, the Renaissance Hotel, Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. You know where to find them. Watermark Baton Rouge, Renaissance Baton Rouge, two amazing hotel properties. Of course, the Renaissance is right there on Bluebonnet. Easy access to I-10, directly across from Perkins Road, Mall of Louisiana. Convenient to shopping, convenient to the interstate. Beautiful guest rooms, all the amenities, workout facility, beautiful, gorgeous views, especially if you're in one of the high floor rooms. You could see past the river. It's incredible if you go to the top of the Renaissance and look out. Also, Tallulah right there in the lobby. Great place to go have casual lunch, great dinner. They've got what they call the terrace, which is the outdoor flow. Tallulah has an indoor-outdoor flow. The outdoor part they call the terrace. And even though you're right there on Bluebonnet, the way it's walled off, the fire pit, and the pool, like you don't feel like you're sitting on Bluebonnet. You feel like you've gotten an escape. It's Tallulah right there inside the Renaissance Hotel. Check them out today. It's Renaissance Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Baton Rouge is home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
We probably won't have Jared Mitchell. The Tennessee Alabama game went long. It wrapped whenever we were talking to Pete, and Tennessee beat Alabama 15-10. And so Georgia and Oklahoma are getting set to play. So it was 30 minutes between games. We had it set to where Jared was going to join us as soon as he got done on the set at the SEC Network. It's been that 30-minute window before the third game of the day. It's likely going to run right through the end of the show. So we probably won't have Jared. We'll see if we can maybe link up with him tomorrow. Just tough. I get it, man. He's working live and he's trying to work with us. But we appreciate when we can get Jared Mitchell with us. By the way, Jay Johnson, before the Tigers left for Hoover, was asked about this new format where all 16 teams are in. It's single elimination. He was asked if he likes this new format.
I did vote to keep the double elimination format. It was me, Tim Corbin, and I think Rob Vaughn were the three that decided we wanted to stay in the double elimination. Like, I want to play. Like, I want the players to play. It gives you the opportunity. But I guess for 8 of the teams in the previous, it was single elimination. You just, you could play your way into double elimination. So I've tried to kind of look at it that way. Like, it's not that much different. So with that, I think probably for the league, it's, there's an argument for it being the best. I just personally liked it how it was.
I do understand. I understand exactly where he's coming from. When you're trying to get as many teams into the NCAA tournament as you can, you want to eliminate as many excuses, as many demerits as possible. And so when you have teams that don't make the tournament, the SEC tournament, it can be used as a red flag against that team. This happened to LSU in 2011 when LSU had a top 30 RPI, but they were 11 and 19 in the league. And I remember having those conversations with Paul Maneri at the time. And they lost, and Paul would tell you, they lost 6 or 7 SEC games by 1 run. And although they were clearly one of the 64 best teams in the country and deserved to be in the field, they got left out, and the line used against them was they didn't make the conference tournament, which is why after that, the league changed the format to expand the tournament, to expand the field. Then whenever we went to a 14-team SEC, 12 of the 14 made it, and now all 16 are in. And it's just trying to eliminate that excuse. And so it's continued to extend the tournament. But the challenge is it's really hard to play a double elimination tournament with 16 teams when you only have a week. And you're also understanding next week is dramatically more important. You want these teams healthy and fresh and ready for regionals, and not so much this week in Hoover. So I get it. The other part that he's talking about, too, is what if you need it? Now, LSU doesn't need it this year, but what if you do need the tournament? And it's single elimination, you lose your first game. Well, now you don't have the opportunity to play the next day, and play another game that you could win to add to your resume. So I get what he's thinking there. And we may feel differently about it in different years. It just worked out perfectly for LSU this year to have the double bye and to play their first game on Friday. And because they're going to play their first game on Friday, literally everyone else will have already played. So LSU will know very clearly where everyone else stands, who's won a couple games, who's been eliminated, everything. So they'll know exactly what they feel like they have to do. How all in do they have to be to win Friday against either Auburn or Texas A&M? I don't know. But it may not be like that next year. You may be playing on Tuesday next year. I mean, I hope not. Ooh, that'd be bad if you're playing on Tuesday next year. But it's different if you're playing on Thursday. Because if you're playing on Thursday, do you throw your ace on short rest? That's a decision Jay Johnson doesn't have to make this year. But do you throw your ace on short rest the week before you start regionals? It's a tougher call. So I get where he's coming from, but it works out for LSU. Live in the moment, the now, and the present. And in the present, Georgia and Oklahoma are warming up. They're going to start in 22 minutes. Yeah, we're not going to get Jay minutes. They'll start first pitch in 22 minutes there at the Hoover Met. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. Summer weddings, ladies and gents, maybe you're getting married. You need your wedding bands. Maybe you've already got the engagement ring and the wedding's coming up. You need your wedding band. You can get it at Lee Michaels. Matter of fact, 13 years ago when Eric and I got married, I got my wedding band at Lee Michaels. They got great options, many different metals, so you can check it all out. Lots of different, for all different budgets as well. It's at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Maybe you got an anniversary coming up. How about, gents, you upgrade for her? Maybe it's It's one of those milestone anniversaries. You could take the ring that you gave her years ago, and you can upgrade. You can trade in that old stone, apply toward a new, bigger stone, and maybe a new ring on this anniversary. They get so many options at Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. 9 locations in all, 2 in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport. Online at LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, as after further review, we're glad to have you hanging out with us here. One significant note around the NFL today, you probably know, the Lions withdrew their petition for a rule change, which would change the NFL playoff seeding. If you're not familiar, this would have eliminated the top seeds going to the division winners, and it would have been a straight seeding based on record. It wasn't going to pass, so the Lions withdrew it. And the other thing that was a bit of an upset is the tush push. Now, I know, because I wrote this story over at LouisianaSports.net, but just yesterday, the odds came out for the tush push, and it was minus 400 that the tush push was going to get banned. It was basically, will the tush push get banned? Yes was minus 400, no was plus 250, meaning minus 400 means you would have had to bet $400 to win 100. Plus 250 means if you bet 100, you would have won 250. So it was like a heavy favorite that it was going to get banned. And lo and behold, the owners voted today, and they did not ban the tush push, instead voting to keep it. Kellen Moore at the owners' meetings back in April, remember, he utilized this fully a year ago as the offensive coordinator of the Eagles. Better believe he likes it. This is what Kellen Moore said back in April.
We'll see. Obviously, I think other teams have tried to replicate it and have not had success. I think investment is, Nick's done a phenomenal job. It's a huge investment to execute that play at a really high level, and they put a lot of time and effort into it.
Listen, admittedly, this is just a novice point of view here. To say it's an investment to be really good at that play, I don't know that I understand that. I think the investment is in having the personnel to be able to run it. Like when you have a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, who, we've all seen the videos of Jalen Hurts back squatting like 600 pounds. When you have a dude at quarterback who's that athletic, that strong, that physical, that really is a running back playing quarterback. He's a great quarterback too, please don't misunderstand, but has the skill set of an NFL running back. Like he could dot the I and be a running back. You have a running back playing quarterback, and you had Jason Kelce, who was perfectly suited to run that play. Yeah, they were really good at it. Like, I don't know that I feel the same about Derek Carr or 6'5" Tyler Shuck lining up behind Eric McCoy and moving the pile the way that Jalen Hurts did or could. So the investment, again, maybe I'm acknowledging this could just be ignorance on my part. Ignorance meaning the lack of knowledge. Just I don't know what it actually takes to be really good at that play. But it feels like the commitment is having the right personnel and the willingness to call it. Like, if you had, we always talked about this with Drew Brees. Brees was great at the leap at the goal line, where we just reach out the ball. He was fantastic at that. He had a great field presence, knew how to protect the football, great cadence to be able to get the ball snapped, get the ball up before the defense reacted, all that stuff. But did we really want Drew Brees, 6 foot, 200 pounds, pushing his way into a pile with thousands of pounds of humanity laying on top of him? Not really. So, it feels like that's really the commitment that you got to make in that respect. But anyway, tush push rolls on. And hat tip to our guy, Chris Marler, over at LouisianaSports.net. He texted me earlier. He's like, can we trademark NOLA Nudge? I'm like, huh. He's like, how do you trademark NOLA Nudge? I was like, well, you file for a trademark. This is how you do it. But we put it out there first, so we own it. I hereby own the NOLA Nudge. Nobody else can use it. Print the shirts.
I love that, actually. The NOLA Nudge.
If they use it. If they run the play.
That's really good.
I just don't think they're going to run the play.
Probably not.
There's just way more risk involved. for basically every team that doesn't have Jalen Hurts at quarterback.
But just such a more cool name now for it than Tush Push.
I get it. And Tush Push was a play on Bush Push.
Right.
Whatever. It's AFR.
AFR.
Hump Day Show is brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. YourGoodwood.com. YourGoodwood.com. Yes, they do ED treatments. And yes, a lot of people laugh about that all the time, although it's not really a laughing matter. If you have ED, that sucks. Do something about it. Goodwood can help. But they do so much more than just ED treatments. That's actually a small part of what they do. The biggest part of their business is testosterone therapy. And yes, a big part of this is increasing your libido, which is awesome. But it's also testosterone helps you burn fat and build muscle and have clarity in your mind and energy like you did when you were younger and the ability to burn fat and build muscle. Also, testosterone, healthy levels of testosterone correlate with heart health, cardiovascular health, prostate health. There's so much research on all of this. I would highly encourage that you look it up, or when you go for a consultation at Goodwood, ask about it. But whatever you do, if you want to live your fullest life, start at YourGoodwood.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit YourGoodwood.com.
A few weeks back at the end of spring, at your request, I threw out my projected starting 22 for LSU week 1 against Clemson. Again, it's a fruitless exercise to do that in April, or maybe it was beginning of May, But some of you asked, so I did it. Like, if I had to pick today, this is how I think they line up, the first 22. And I had Gabe Relaford and Jack Pyburn as the defensive ends, and that surprised a lot of you that I had Relaford there instead of one of the other transfers. And one thing that was just very obvious to me is watching spring, every time they gave us media availability to go watch, they ran in pairs. And Pyburn and Relaford were a pair, and Butler and Payton were a pair. We very rarely saw those guys run in tandem with anyone else. Like, those were the rotations. And Relaford and Pyburn went out there with the ones at the end. And by the way, when Blake Baker was off the bench with Hester on Wednesday morning, he raved about Relaford.
Gabe Relaford had an outstanding spring. He's one of those guys when we talk about competitive depth. He's not going to lose his reps just because we brought in 3 seniors. You know, he's upped his game. The work that he's put in the weight room, he's changed his body. He's really worked on his flexibility.
Not going to lose his reps because we brought in transfers. I mean, that says volumes right there. And I get it. One of the things that Blake Baker said in that interview that I thought was so interesting was in talking about the depth on defense. By the way, you can go hear that whole interview with Hester and Blake Baker. Podcast, YouTube, just search Off the Bench. You'll see it. Or OTB LSU. You'll see it wherever, podcast or YouTube. But one of the things that Blake Baker said, I don't know which cut this is, Muse, but I was listening, I heard it. He basically said, I think our guys are going to be better playing 50 snaps instead of 75 snaps a game. So as to say, probably not going to have dudes running 90 snaps a game. I mean, I don't think Whit Weeks is ever coming off the field. But at defensive tackle, at defensive end, at safety, I think you are going to see heavy rotation because there's such little drop-off. And so you're going to have fresh dudes platooning in. I mean, when Nick Saban was crushing at Alabama, that was always the hallmark of his defensive lines. They had 11, 12 dudes. It was just it was a line change in hockey. It was just the next wave of All-Americans. Here they come. While you're dragging ass, they're just busting you in the mouth with future first-rounders. It feels like that's what LSU is this year. So I don't think it necessarily matters who takes the first snap, the first rep of the game. I think all these guys are going to play. Just have great depth. It was so interesting having that convo with Pete Fiutak earlier this hour. If you missed it, there is a feeling, a dismissive feeling about LSU. And this is not, listen, y'all know this because you're presuming you're in this audience, you've listened to me for any length of time. I am not the guy that is going to Sunshine Pump. Can we all agree on that? Like, some of you get pissed at me because I don't Sunshine Pump. Like, I'm going to tell you. If I think they're good, I'll tell you. If I think they're bad, I'm going to tell you. I think this is where I fall on this. The national consciousness is sleeping on LSU this year because there is an echo chamber mentality that Brian Kelly can't win the big game. Maybe that bears out to be true this year. But as we're going through that convo with Pete, and he's like, you look around the SEC, and, well, there's a lot of questions about quarterbacks. Even when he was talking about Arch is going to suck all the oxygen out of the room because everybody's got quarterback questions. And so often success is when you have a good quarterback. And I'm like, you mean the leading returning quarterback passer in the country? And then he starts going through coaching and who has coaching questions. And I'm like, and Brian Kelly's the winningest active coach in college football that got Notre Dame to 2 playoffs and the BCS championship game. And then he's talking about sleeper teams and talking about Texas Tech because they went out and spent a ton of money in the portal and bought a roster. And I'm like, did you see who's 1 and 2, 2 and 1 in every portal ranking because they went and bought a roster? Like, it's LSU. They check all the boxes. It's why I'm looking around going, maybe I just feel like we've seen the story, but like we've seen the movie before with LSU because of Nuss. We saw it with Mettenberger and with Burrow and with Daniels, their second year as a starter, 5th year in school. And Nuss was better in his first year as starter than all of them. And then you go and add this portal class, and I get like why we're all buying LSU. But nationally, they're not there. And I think they will be. Like, they'll get there. Because I think LSU is going to be unavoidable in these conversations as we get to and through the season. I mean, in some of the games people are like, oh, LSU could be dangerous. You got to play South Carolina and Florida. Lenore Sellers, DJ Lagway. Pete Fiutak sat here and said he's not bullish on Sellers and Lagway. And by the way, both those games are in Baton Rouge. Like, hammer over 8.5. Like, 8.5 to me is laughable. 9.5, I could have bought. Ohio State lost 2 games last year. Ohio State went 10-2 last year. They were playing their best in the playoff. God bless. They were the most talented team. They won the championship. Got a good draw, won it all. Eight and a half. If this LSU team loses 4 games, I will definitively say Brian Kelly is never winning anything of significance at LSU. If he can't win 9 games with this team, I don't care what the schedule looks like. If you can't win 9 games with this team, like, it'll never happen. Hammer over 8.5. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. Always got great deals, y'all. Remember, I tell you all the time, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. They sell more Volkswagens, so because they do more inventory, they can give you better prices. And, of course, they got the best selection. southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. How about 2.9% for 60 months right now in 2025 CrossSport? Amazing. That's the vehicle I drive every single day from South Point Volkswagen. Erica drives an Atlas. I drive a CrossSport. You open up our garage, boom, there's 2 Volkswagens right there. Style, feel, performance of luxury. But for me, the best part for me is the safety features. I know when I put Drew in his car seat, when Erica pulls out the driveway, we are driving the safest vehicles on the road. And God forbid anything ever happen, but if it did, I have the peace of mind knowing I'm driving the safest vehicles on the road. And they're fun to drive. They're cost-effective. And, oh, by the way, they're also manufactured in Chattanooga. So right here in the USA, supporting American jobs and American manufacturing jobs. South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highlander, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, y'all, it's after further review. Been a really good show. I can't believe when we were playing the we were playing earlier our AI songs, and I can't believe it didn't hit me, but we should have had a Bama is Burning AI song. A little embarrassed I didn't think of it.
There's still time.
Well, Jason took the luxury.
Oh.
Bama is burning, the sky's all red. All their pride hangs by a thread.
Haven't heard it. Conceptually, I like a Bama is Burning song. I don't think that one hits.
No,
exactly. We'll workshop.
I think it's the genre of music he chose. To be brutally honest,
it's a big part of it.
Yeah,
it's a big part of it. All right, Jimmy's here for Otterlocks next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, including the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs, which is the largest garden center in the city. Terrio texted me earlier this week. I love this. I want to read it for you. Terrio texted me this earlier. I think it might have been Monday when he sent me this. He said, FYI, Scott at the Clegg's on Greenwell Springs is the world's best. Oh, and that place out there is a gardener's wonderland. I'll go there for plants and crap from now on. He said, I brought 3 grown-ass trees to keep my nosy neighbor from seeing my backyard from her second story. If you want giant trees to keep a nosy neighbor out, you want beautiful flowers for your patio pots, your flower beds, other bedding plants, they got it all over at Clegg's, and there's 4 locations. Siga near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the one Terrio's talking about, the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. If you're leaving Central heading toward downtown, it's right there on the right. You can't miss it. Buy local, shop local, Clegg's Nursery.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on this Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. One thing left to do to find out we're betting on tonight. Time for Otterlock!
It's time for the Otterlocks with the Oddfather and Henny. Lock of the week, the lock of the week, the lock of the week, Otterlocks.
Otterlocks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Sports talk radio host, Baton Rouge. Sports gambling degenerate, you can lose.
I'll tell you what, my guy said he does have standards. Chris Marler was asking the Otter for lines on which inmates were going to get caught next, and Otter said, even I have standards. Otter, how are you?
Oh, come on. You have to draw the line at some point. I mean, everybody, as low as they may be, you have to have standards.
Oh,
okay?
that's so good.
That's where I draw the line. Yeah, the last in. Oh, trust me, I'm getting bombarded. Here you go, Art. Who you got? I'm like, okay.
One of my favorite lines ever was from Mike Detillier. He was talking about the late Buddy D. And he said Buddy D would gamble if he could get action on two cockroaches racing across the floor. He'd make a wager. Anyway, what are we looking at tonight?
My favorite Buddy D applies today to the New Orleans Saints. Oh, the owner said he was 3 guys away from a Super Bowl team. I said, who? The Father, Son, the Holy Ghost?
Freaking best, man. Oh, my God. All right, what are we looking at, man? What are we looking at?
All right, let's get started here. You can in-game it at DraftKings and the Queen on the college baseball. And listen, the projected number 2 pick in the draft probably is the SEC pitcher of the year. The kid for Oklahoma, he's at plus money.
Tyson Witherspoon, yeah.
Yeah, you can pull it up right now, probably plus 125.
I'm looking.
Remember draft night at Don Juan's? He left the game
plus
with
120.
7-1 or 7-1 or 8-1 lead. The bullpen hung on, but this is definitely a more pitcher-friendly park in Athens. That's for sure. So we're going to go with Witherspoon plus money. Absolutely.
All right. Tyson Witherspoon in Oklahoma plus 120 on the money line. All right.
I mean, it's college baseball. I mean, Mark Pryor was plus money against Ben Saxton in '98, and that didn't work out. So anyway,
it was 2000, but yeah.
2000. That's no. It was.
It was 2000.
Yeah.
I was there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Brad Hopp had a couple homers in the game.
That was a swing. That was a swing. There's no
man.
doubt. Hey, Boston is underway. We're on Austin Crochet.
Okay.
The Ocean Springs, Tennessee product. Land, I don't know what it is currently.
160.
It might be a little less. Lindor, they must get out this end. And then Lindor led off with a double. He's still at second with 2 outs. They're ahead of us.
No, he's at third.
The mobile sites are ahead of the TV, I can tell you.
It's 166 now. He's at third base with 2 outs.
Yeah. So 166 tells me he's not scoring. So anyway, Braves and Nationals did get rained
1
out.
minute remaining.
We are going with the Padres plus money against Toronto after getting shut out last night. We're bouncing back with them. And then in the basketball, hey, listen, again, if you can get up to a 4-point middle, 25 to 50% of your bet is what I would suggest. Certainly had it last night. You had as much as a 6-point middle last night with the late lead before half and the 4-point lead at half by the T-Wolves. Same thing tonight. Pacers plus 4.5 against the Knicks.
All right, Otter, where are you tomorrow?
We are at Iverstein Butcher.
Okay.
On Perkins, trying to load up for the grill for Memorial Day weekend.
Let's go, man. Great spot, great people over there. All right, Otter, good luck tonight. Thanks.
Good luck.
All right, Iverstein tomorrow for Otter and Hanny live at lunch weekdays 11 to 1. Muse Pauly, thanks. Y'all have an awesome night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
It is my pleasure this week to welcome our new partner on to After Further Review, Our Lady of the Lake. Of course, great partnership as well as the official championship health partner of LSU. When you think who takes care of the LSU athletes, well, it's Our Lady of the Lake and the physicians there. Game-changing care, keeps athletes at their best, builds stronger, healthier Louisiana for all of us at every level. I've told you about my experience throughout my life, living in Baton Rouge at Our Lady of the Lake, from volunteering at the Ronald McDonald Playroom to helping raise funds through so many different fundraising efforts for the standalone Children's Hospital to taking my son to see specialists there at Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital, to my own personal health. My GP is Dr. Kurt Chastain with Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health. It's good enough for the LSU athletes. It's good enough for me and you, of course. It's Our Lady of the Lake. You can learn more at ololrmc.com/LSU.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority.
It's our purpose.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50